Fortune Radio, one of the best.
Thank you, Arin. This was a hit spot.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so he had he started this group in New York that he used the letters of LSD and called it the League for Spiritual Discovery.
Oh, that's cool.
And
it was like a club?
Not a club. Like, he would have just discussions, you know, and people would interact. And one of my mentors, this woman, Rita, who was a bit, maybe 15 years older than me. Probably more, actually. I think at that time I was only 21. And she must have been in her mid-40s. Maybe mid-40s. She had 3 kids. And she was an artist. And
was she a looker?
She was a mom. She was just a really nice mentor.
Oh, okay.
Me, you know?
I'm just trying to set the scene, figure out what she was to you, kind of. Mentors are important.
I had this friend who was like I've known a bunch of A-type characters, and this I'm trying to. I met this guy through this woman who I ran into at one of the early be-ins in Central Park.
What's a be-in?
In Central Park in New York.
What's a be-in?
I'll tell you this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The hip radio stations, and one of the main ones in New York was WBAI with this fellow Bob Fass. As the hippie movement was growing, so I'm thinking this is late 66, early 67, that he was playing progressive music, including music that we were familiar with, some Beatles stuff too. And just talks, he'd have different people on. And so I think the first thing that he mentioned on the air, again, no cell phones.
Yeah.
Some people didn't even have phones, so you got to go visit, And we had radios. So Bob, the first thing that he put together was called a clean-in. And this is in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, where there were, like, in between some apartment buildings, there was lots of garbage. And so he, mentioned it to the community, let's go do a clean-in, which was interesting because just a bunch of people would go down and clean up this different areas.
Oh, it's like a community outreach, kind of you're cleaning, or not community outreach, but the community gets together and cleans the block, or...
Yeah, clean the block, whatever that particular block was in the Lower East Side. Let's do a clean-in.
Yeah.
And one thing I remember, I don't remember a whole lot about what we did. I know we cleaned stuff up. I went with a few friends. I can't even remember who they were. But some guy in like a third-floor tenement, because this area in the Lower East Side were all tenements where the immigrants used to live, Now the hippies were living there because it was so cheap. Mm-hmm. And one guy was playing an EP. So what is an expanded? What does EP stand for?
What is it? Extended press or no? Because it's only like a 4-song, right? It's
right,
like a small,
4 or 5 songs on it. Right, an extended.
I forget exactly what it stands for, but yeah.
Was Country Joe from Country Joe and the Fish from their first album? Before the album came out, they had this EP that came out, and I just remember hearing, their music from this third-floor tenement. Then the next thing Bob Fass on WBAI mentioned was, let's have a fly-in, but we did it at Grand Central Station. I don't know, we didn't go to like Kennedy Airport or anything. So in Grand Central Station, people came and just hung around. People were in costumes and just walking around and greeting one another. Then then there was this Be-In. So the Be-In was in Central Park, and just thousands of hippies would come there. And at one point, there were a group of people that were like putting helium balloons together and making like a rope string up into the air of like dozens of helium balloons. And, you know, we're young people. I think at that time I was only like, I was maybe just 20, you know, at that time, maybe not even. And I met a couple of women who were right at that spot, and they became good friends for many years. And so we had a whole group that hung out in New York for a while. And then the two girls, Barbara and Sam, her name was Roseanne, but she called herself Sam, went to Haight-Ashbury.
I've been there once, man. That's a cool spot. I've been there once. That's a cool spot.
Oh, that area, yeah. Haight Street, by the park. By
Haight-Ashbury, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was a great neighborhood, all these Victorian buildings. And so they went to Haight-Ashbury, and I wanted to be with them. And
you wanted to be with them?
I wanted to be, we were just close, the platonic friends.
Platonically.
And I wanted to be with them, and I hitched in the end of September 67. I hitched from New York. I got a bus to the Jersey Turnpike and got off and put my thumb out and hitched to San Francisco. So that's a whole other story. You know?
I'm trying to hear that story.
I wouldn't even hitch from Downing to Marion. You know,
dude, I hitched from I hitched from Cripple Creek to Denver once, and that was a hell of a thing, man. Hitchhiking's an adventure, like,
and you know, it's an adventure. I don't know if I believe there was really less crime and less fear of something bad happening.
Yeah.
It's not just that we didn't have the communication system as we did before. I think it was just a better time. There would be less crazed people around at that time than there are now. That you wouldn't feel safe doing something like that now.
Yeah. What do you think that is? Do you think that's just from exposure? Do you think like there's just like so much exposure to crazy shit that people just get tainted, or?
Yeah. Say what you said again.
Well, it's just like, what do you think that is? Like, it seemed like it was safer back in the day than it is now. You could trust people more back in the day,
right,
to hitchhike. So what is that? What is it?
You know, there's a couple. I think part of it is the population growing.
There's more people, so you care less about each individual?
I think there's more people, which means like there are more cars in Denver now than when I moved here. Yeah. So there are more accidents.
Yeah.
So there would be more people that you have more chance of like...
Sure,
and then part of it is like, where does all this crazy stuff come from, with all the mass shootings and stuff? What's with the mentality of all that? Yeah. And I think people have repressed, or even the government, whatever, counties, states, the United States government, it made like, if you said you were having difficulties inside yourself or in your mind, they just like throw you off somewhere. They didn't care, rather than trying to help people. So I think more mentally crazed people have developed over all this time. Mm-hmm. Because, back in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, and I lived in San Francisco, Marin County area for many years, that was the mode of transportation. Was hitchhiking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how most people got around.
Yeah,
and
pre-Uber.
For Uber, it's funny you say that. I had a friend who was an entrepreneur who always had money. He's always started businesses. He bought this, when we were living in Marin, we had a house in San Anselmo, and he bought this truck from... like it was a Navy or Air Force truck. It was a double cab with a full, back of the truck, full size truck with a double cab, and we'd go into San Francisco. People would be out in the street. We'd pick them up, but mostly on the way back from San Francisco over the Golden Gate into Marin. We're picking up people along the way. So first they'd fill up.
You got room for them.
First they'd fill up the cab.
Yeah.
Then they're hopping into the back. And then when someone needed to get off, they'd hit the window of the cab. We'd stop. They'd get off. Maybe some other people would get on there.
Yeah.
Until we got home. So
it was like public transportation. Hitchhiking.
It was public transportation. So people. I know it's changed a lot. It used to be because all my friends at the time had long hair, so it always seemed, other than the bikers, other than the Hells Angels, it always seemed like anyone that had long hair, they were cool, and that's changed. That's changed. I thought anyone that smoked weed or dropped acid, was cool. You could trust them. They weren't, but it's changed,
It has changed. I wonder what the deal with that is, And there's something, excuse me, it's almost like a respect. Here, let me throw this away. I've got like a respect for anybody with long hair and tattoos, because it's like, it almost means like, it's like whatever they're making money, they're doing something, and their boss is okay with them having long hair. So it means that they're either their own boss or, do you know what I mean? Like you got full hair and full beard, and you're looking at him, and it's like, dude, he's not a slave to corporate America. Like at the very least, he's not forced to cut his beard for his job and forced.
Well, I think more so today that's the case. Yeah. That people have tats all over. Whatever their hairstyle is, pink, green, dreads pulled up on top.
Absolutely.
Whatever. I think it's more understood now. Back then, because we called, we called it the counterculture. Counterculture, right?
Absolutely.
So it was like we were in our own group, so we protected one another. We took care of one another. We weren't a part of corporate America. Corporate America wouldn't hire people like us.
Yeah.
It just wasn't something to do, to be part of that. So I think we tried to take care of one another for the most part. And, when I first moved to Haight-Ashbury, it was, when I finally got to Haight-Ashbury, I got there and I read one of the local hippie papers called The Oracle. And on the cover was the death of the hippie. 3 days before I got there, they buried the hippie.
Jeez.
I'm looking for to be in hippie heaven, and they buried the hippie because of weird stuff was starting to happen. So when I first got there, it was like the end of the summer of love, as they call it. And there was, when it got so popular, I was there at times where there would be tour buses that people in the Midwest would drive up Haight Street just to look at the hippies.
Yeah.
And so then other people started to come in who would maybe scam you.
Oh, like pretend hippies? Like fake hippies?
No.
Tourists.
No, the tourists would come and do their thing.
Uh-huh.
But then other people came in who were more, more criminally minded people,
Yeah.
And then, even at the time, speed went along with everything, so you're getting all that weird speed stuff going on.
So what, the Hells Angels were like pushing the speed, weren't they?
Right. So that was part of it. My friends who I went out to see before I got out there, my one friend, Barbara, somehow got picked up by a group of Hells Angels, and they had their way for a few days, and nothing you could do.
Yeah, that's wild.
So, at one point, so we moved in, and she lived like sort of downtown when I first went to see them. Mm-hmm. They had an apartment downtown. Then we moved to Haight-Ashbury proper. And at one point, we had an apartment with a bunch of we had 16 people lived in the apartment in a 2-bedroom.
Jesus.
I was lucky to get the closet for a few nights, whenever I could.
Oh my God.
So Arin,
what was rent? What were you paying for rent?
I don't know who paid for rent.
Nobody was paying. Somebody
I
had
had
to
no
have
idea about like what that was, you know. And what was funny also, you know, when I'm thinking of this, I hadn't thought of this in a long time. So we were on Page Street in this apartment building, which was kind of nice. It had a rug, and then it went up the stairs, and then we had friends across the way too. So we had these like two apartments together. We were about 16 lived in ours, but we were doing a lot of acid at that time, and the floor of the apartment building, the rug was like all of these different colored polka dots. You know, I just remember like how cool that was, you know. Yeah. And yeah, so you know, we all got along, but we got bad behind speed with needles and stuff also.
Oh, intravenous speed? Intravenous?
Oh
speed?
yeah, boy, you know, that was a rush.
Yeah, no doubt. That's heavy.
We weren't into heroin or anything, but we were into shooting up, and speed was the thing.
Shooting up speed. I never really heard about shooting up speed. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, we used to get a lot of powder, you know, I guess we called it crystal meth.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I don't remember too many. I mean, people, you know, depending on your mindset, like there are addictive minds, you know, that will get very bad behind it, where other people could do it and it's not addicting.
Depends on the person, depends on the drug, depends on,
Right, for anything that it is.
Yeah.
And so the group I was with, it wasn't that crazy. But you remember like a number of years ago when meth, you know, was really bad here and people were really getting badly ill and sick and crazy behind it. I don't remember that happening there, but there was crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So that summer of love turned into the autumn of discontent, you know, kind of.
Yeah.
And that's why there was the death of the hippie, because all these tourists were coming in. Yeah. But, you know, when I was there, all these people are coming from all over the country, teenagers, you know, 13, 14, 15, 16. You know, I was like one of the old ones. I was from New York, you know. I came back to an apartment like Owsley. You know of the name Owsley?
It sounds
Stanley, Owsley Bear Stanley.
I don't know.
He not only was the he would create like the sound for the Grateful Dead, building the speakers and stuff like that,
nice.
Doing the sound system, doing recording and stuff like that. But he was also making LSD.
Okay.
And he would like drop it on Haight Street. You know, if he made like Purple Wedges was one of the tabs that he came out with. He's dead, so he can't get in trouble for, you know, people hearing about it. But so I was with a couple of friends. One took the name Frodo.
You did?
No, not me. I was just Phil.
Okay.
But one took the name Frodo, so we called him Frodo. Uh-huh. And another guy who was huge, he was like 6'2", 250 pounds. His name was Tiny.
Okay.
So I was with Frodo and Tiny. And we took the Purple Wedges, and we're on Haight Street, and the tourists are going by, you know, and a lot of police harassment too, but the tourists are going by and looking at us, and we're looking at each other saying, man, these people are looking, they don't realize we're melting right here. And so I went back to the house where we were, you know, on Page Street, which is one block off of Haight Street. And then, like, all these people were, like, tripping, and this is the first time they'd done any LSD. And, like, I know there was one guy, like, walking in the room and with his girlfriend holding his leg, and he's, like, dragging her across the floor, and, like, people are just, like, really out there. And they're asking me, what's going on? I said, we're tripping. You know?
Dude, LSD's a hell of a drug, and LSD changed my life.
Oh, there you go. I think it did mine, too.
I recently got a hook of, like, some real scientist-level scientific shit.
Sandoz? Might not be Sandoz.
It's probably not Sandoz, but you can just tell that it was done properly.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, it really knocked the dust off my brain.
Oh, interesting.
Because I went a couple years kind of dormant, in hibernation kind of, Just
You're
not
talking
doing
about
much
you did this how
anything.
long ago?
Probably 6 months ago.
Right. Okay. Because I remember when you went through that period.
Yeah, I went through some heavy shit.
Very heavy stuff.
Yeah.
You were acting out against us also at that time.
Yeah, I was kind of in
Well, that's why I was glad to see you after all that, that period. And like, to me, you were like back to the open, communicative person as I remembered.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back. I feel like acid had a really big part.
Well, that's interesting.
In that.
I know for a lot of people.
I was off. Go ahead, sorry.
No, continue.
I was just gonna say I was off the rails, and I was like trying to get into stand up comedy, and I was doing open mics and stand up comedy. And I just felt lost, and nothing was clicking. And then I did some acid and just went on a journey, man. And I picked up my electric guitar and started playing, and it just it was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was really fucking nuts. And I was like, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I am supposed to be doing.
Wow.
And I started playing music out again, and playing open mics for music instead of open mics for comedy. And it just feels like, okay, I'm back on the rails, and I feel like back to normal, maybe plus, a little bit extra. It's good.
Well, my first time was back in '66, just after it became illegal. But my oldest friend, who I just saw a few days ago, he was going to Stony Brook University, and his roommate, and it was '66, his roommate took a summer course at Berkeley, and that's where Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert were doing their testing. It was free. It was legal at the time.
And that was like the primordial, that was like where it all started.
In a sense, right. That in upstate New York with Allen Ginsberg and a lot of the beat people.
Too. Yeah.
And so he came back because the first LSD, when it was, they said LSD 25, and it was 300, I think it was 325 micrograms in each blue capsule, light blue capsule that said Sandoz on it in white. And that was, Sandoz is still around making medicine.
Pharmaceutical,
right. So this was the first created LSD 25, Sandoz. And I had taken some sugar cubes that people said had acid in it, and I never really got off.
That shit happened to me before too,
right.
Man. Yeah.
And so we were at Stony Brook University, and this oldest friend of mine, we both did one blue capsule, 325 mics, whatever, maybe it was something different, 300 mics, whatever.
Of the Sandoz.
Whatever is the proper amount they put in it. And we had a guide who was the guy who was in Berkeley and came back. That was his roommate.
Always helpful.
And everyone had a guide then,
Yeah.
It was really intense stuff, but it was mind-opening, like you were saying. So I don't know about taking off the dust, but it opened my mind, even though it hasn't been opened in the same way. It's never closed.
Yeah.
It never closed.
I was just talking to a artist who's he's in his late 60s. He plays piano at the Mercury Cafe. I play over there sometimes. And he's going to be on the show too. His name's Nick. He's an old acid head. Reminds me a lot of you. Mad wisdom. And he was saying, I don't have to be on these drugs anymore, like to feel the way they made me feel. Like they opened something up and it didn't close.
Right, and it never closed. Even though there are ups and downs in it, I think that's why a lot of people... I mean, it's hard to say because you're making a discrimination between one mindset and another mindset. But that, you just, I don't know, learn to be more accepting, more to appreciate all cultures, different music, different colors of people, whatever it is. So I think, that's never closed, that's always part of the fiber that's inside me. And a lot of people I know, like I said, I just came from this trip in Florida, I saw 1, 2, 3. I would have seen others, but my friend missed a flight from from Chicago to Fort Lauderdale. So I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. Some I hadn't seen in 20 plus years, some I hadn't seen in longer than that, and all that I've known for over 50 years.
Dude, that's a good feeling, dude.
And they're all beautiful, lovely.
That's awesome.
Warm people.
That's awesome. I like doing that too. I've been doing that recently too, trying to reconnect with people over Facebook or whatever it is, because it's kind of a good marker to see, like, oh, damn, that person gained 110 pounds. Oh, damn, that person has 3 kids now. And it's kind of like, because you hate to relate to try to compare yourself to people, but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, well, I am who I am. They're looking at me like, oh, this motherfucker's got tattoos now, and he's got glasses, and he's whatever. He's starting to go gray. Like, it's
right.
It's you forget that you're also going through changes. And it's crazy, but you're looking in the mirror every day, so it just doesn't seem.
So I was with, like, my oldest friend in Knoxville, who I've known since 7 years old, who I did all my first smoking weed for the first time I got high was some Lebanese hash.
Nice.
That we did in Greenwich Village at a friend's house.
Nice.
At a friend's house, and. It's great that, people say, well, if you did all that stuff, you can't remember it. Well, that's not the case.
Yeah.
It opened us up, and we still remember that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, we don't remember everything, but I do remember, like, getting high, and it was in this woman's house in Greenwich Village in New York. It was a very hip place, 66, like in the spring of 66, and maybe it was the summer, and she was playing Coltrane. It was the first time I heard Coltrane. And we got onto the elevator to go take a walk around Greenwich Village and stuff after we did the hash. And some woman got on the elevator. This other woman was on, like, the 6th floor. And someone else got on the elevator, and I looked at her, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, remember?
Just laughing and laughing, And
remember how much you would laugh when it first started?
I don't even get high much anymore.
Yeah, me either.
I get a buzz, It's all right. I smoke good stuff. I like the smell and the taste, But, I mean, someone could tell me it's 10 milligrams of THC or 40 milligrams of THC. It's all the same.
It doesn't matter. Same. I have to smoke all day just to stay at zero.
Or just I mean, it's like drinking water or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some people that drink beer. But maybe not during the day. But at night.
That's why I can't talk shit on alcoholics, because it's like, dude, I smoke weed all goddamn day, and it's like, dude, if somebody wants to drink and that's their thing, let them do it. I mean, I'm not trying to compare cannabis to alcohol, but at the same time, it's like, dude, people do their shit. People have their shit,
they do whatever it is. I mean, it's part of our lifestyle that I find it's not harmful. It's whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I was with my friend in Knoxville, who I've known since 7. We did all these things for the first time together, like the hash and in Greenwich Village and LSD. Speed, whatever it was, we did for the first time together. So he and his wife, who met in California where I was living, and I knew her, I kind of introduced them together. They're coming up on their 49th wedding anniversary. Wow. And they have 9 grandkids, and dude, I dropped them off a little weed, when I was there.
That's awesome.
And so his wife, they're just great people, and so we took selfies and pictures and sending them back and forth. So they know my friends who I saw in Florida before I went to Knoxville, and then went another place in Tennessee where I met some other friends that I'd known, from when I first moved out there. And
I'm trying to get to Tennessee. I'd love to get out to Tennessee.
It's green. Man. It's. I mean, the trees are bare, but there was a lot of rain when we were there. But it's really lush.
Did you see any shows or anything?
So anyway, here's me, right?
Oh, nice.
My friend Gabriel and my friend Steve.
Very cool. He's got the tie-dye.
2024, right?
Nice.
This is us when we took a trip. That's
shit.
Steve there.
Where are you?
There I am playing the flute there.
Dude. Let me zoom that in. That's crazy,
So that's
bro.
Gabriel.
Full beard, full hair.
Right, there's
Hat
Steve.
and a flute, dude.
This is 1970.
Oh my God.
This picture is in 2024.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
So I didn't want
fucking awesome.
to. So this guy,
Dude, you gotta... dude, that's so cool.
yeah. So we were taking a
Dude, you gotta send me that
VW
one.
microvan.
Send me that one
Sure, I'll send you that one.
for the podcast. Dude.
Right. So this is Steve over here on the right, and this is Gabriel here on the left. Our friend Bob, who had the VW van. It wasn't a microbus. It was like and I had a lift up
like a camper.
bed.
Camper.
I forget what they called it, but anyway, yeah. Cool. So here are the three of us, and here we are, 54 years later.
Just looks like the Charlie Manson squad.
Listen, it's funny. I mean, we could look like that, but I don't think he took the right kind of acid.
He was taking some weird...
He was
taking some CIA acid.
These are all people that, yeah.
Did you hear that about Manson? Like he was working with the government. Did you hear that?
I thought I heard something like that. Like he was like an undercover, like to bust people and stuff,
and to like experiment with the drug, and like he would get in trouble, and like they would just let him out of prison and shit. I don't know. I don't know much about it either, but it kind of interests me. The whole origination of acid. Like like some scientist just makes it because
accidentally
on accident. It was horse tranquilizer.
I forget what it was, but it was some like kind of fungus that he let grow on bread or something.
Right.
That's some kind of fungus, and then synthetically he came up, chemically, the chemical
he would like copied it,
to make it lysergic acid dithylamide. 25.
Wow.
So, people have been making it all along. I don't know. What did you have, blotter or something?
No, it was actually gel.
Gel.
So it was almost. It looked like a green Jolly Rancher. Was the color and kind of consistency of it, but smaller, much smaller.
Interesting.
And it was like, okay, it was like one hit was like a microdose and you're okay. You could go walk around and you'd be fine, but you'd be feeling really fucking good. And 2 hits was like, you're going on a journey and you're going to be sweating a little bit. Like, and it's probably best that you stay inside, just like listen to some vinyl and just chill out,
I hadn't done... The last time I did LSD was 1970.
Really?
I had done a lot between 1966 and 1970, but I didn't do any after that.
I'd be curious to see what you think about the shit.
Well, I did do I have been I did for a long time. I didn't do any psychedelics, but then I started like taking a little bit of psilocybin.
Yeah.
And we went to Mexico in 71 and found mushrooms, in the fields we were in near Palenque.
I feel way safer about mushrooms.
Again, it's a natural thing. That's why, I have friends that have really good vape pipes where you put flour in, a little.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I don't, the oil I don't like very much, but... I like what they have, but I just like flour, I just like smoking flour or anything from the natural thing. I don't know, there's a guy, if you know the guy who works for Altitude.
Does he live in this complex?
Yeah. He
Altitude
just had a
Magazine?
kid.
Altitude Magazine?
No, maybe it's Altitude. No, Altitude, dispensary.
Oh, okay.
Right. He's a grower.
I don't think I met him.
Anyway, he gave me some gummies a while back, like our first snow or something that we had.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't taken any, but so I hadn't done that much. I guess part of what it is maybe I want to have control of more of what is going on. Though I took the mushrooms, but I never took a lot because I'm at the Dead and Company concerts,
Yeah, you're out and about,
right,
in public.
I would be vibing pretty good. I'd have a good time.
Yeah.
I know one of the shows, not last year, but the year before, I was still high as I was driving home, you know. Because I know the route so well.
Exactly.
I was all right, but I was holding on to the wheel, you know.
Yeah, dude, that's definitely. I've been there a couple when I was younger, you know, because when you're still experimenting, you don't know, you know, how far you can go, you know.
There was a time I was like,
trip.
I was doing so much I couldn't get off anymore. And this guy, my friend Abraham, who I said we all did all this stuff together for the first time, he was living in an apartment up on 96th Street in Manhattan, 96th and 3rd, and we had this big party and about 20 people. And they were all tripping. The only thing I could do was like eat a big chunk of hash to like be
which will still
close to the same level as my friends were.
That shit will still trip you out when you eat it. It affects you differently when you eat it.
Definitely. That's why when I say I don't do many of the gummy. Well, when I was still with my wife Karen, we're living in Aurora. By the way, this is for you.
Oh, nice.
And you're right, it's shake. You know, like we call it jarring debris, but it is shake. So. Anyway, you know, we started experimenting with the chocolates. I think there was one called like Rhino, Blue Rhino, or something.
That's a dick pill. That's a hard-on pill.
Oh yeah, then it's something different. Yeah. This is more like a Hershey bar,
okay,
you know, with 10 different sections on it.
Yeah.
Each of them was 10 milligrams, right? Again, so I smoke a lot, and so I took 10 milligrams, nothing. I waited a week, I took 15 milligrams, nothing.
Yeah.
Then the third week, I took 20 milligrams, and I tripped for 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, everything was crystalline. It wasn't like I had like after images like I would on LSD or the walls looking like Aztec, you know, paintings. But everything was vibrating. It was really cool. I really liked it. I'm like singing songs to the flowers we had in the backyard.
That's good. That is good energy.
I was writing it down, and my wife and I were going through some bad stuff at that time. And it wasn't much after that we ended up splitting up, maybe a year or so, but. And when she came back, I said, "Oh, Karen, this is her." She didn't want to hear about it, you know. But so it was kind of sad in that sense. But yeah, so, and that's when I said, you know, oh yeah, kids shouldn't be taking this, and you shouldn't be doing this when you're driving, you know.
Psilocybin?
No, the edibles that I had.
Edibles, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you take too much, you know, it'd be hard to drive.
Yeah, and it sticks with you for like hours when you eat it.
But I had a pleasant experience, you know, all the times I had the mushrooms.
Nice.
You know, I've been wanting to do some just in my apartment and, you know, get into a whole thing.
Yeah. I
have friends that still do that, like my friend in Knoxville, where he's like been pretty straight for the last 50 years.
Yeah,
he's a clinical psychologist who recently retired.
Yeah,
but he wanted to go in, you know.
Absolutely, that's like the next frontier, man. Dude, I have some Super Mario mushrooms. If you just say the word, you just let me know. And I've been kind of waiting. I wanted to do them with a girl, but that's not a good idea, you know, to do psychedelics with a girl unless you're really comfortable with them. But they're kind of a little scary. Because I'm telling you, there's.
Oh yeah.
They have this look to them. The last batch of mushrooms I had, I was calling them underworld mushrooms because they looked like they were just straight out of the devil's satchel.
Really?
Yeah, like. but they made me like emotional.
Well, you know, ginseng looks kind of weird.
It looks weird, yeah.
And
I was like, whatever, man, you know. And so I bought them. I'm gonna eat them, you know. But these ones that I got right now, they look like some Super Mario, fucking crazy, like.
You know, when we were in Mexico in 71, people told us about these mushrooms in this town, Huautla, which was near Oaxaca.
Yeah.
Not far from Oaxaca. That they called derrumbe.
Derrumbe.
Derrumbe in English is earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we never found them, but yeah, when we were in this town and found the mushrooms growing up in the cow pasture,
yeah,
they were mellow, and we were eating a lot of them. We were eating a lot of them as we walked from one end of this cow pasture to this little creek.
I've never done it that way. I always wanted to. go naturally, go out and hunt for them, hunt for the
mushrooms?
That's how you did it, right?
Well, so we were looking for, this is 71, and in like April, early May in 71 in Palenque, Mexico. But we've been searching for them for a few weeks. Just trying to like go places where there was water in the woods and think mushrooms would be growing, So we get to these Mayan ruins in Palenque, which is an amazing place, and we're pulling up into the parking lot, and there's a couple, and we see their van has California plates on it.
So they're hunting too, probably.
Yeah. And they're like making breakfast. Well, they were mixing the mushrooms in with the eggs.
No shit.
Yeah. And they said, "Oh yeah, you just got to go to this pasture."
Nice.
And we went to one pasture, and the sound of cicadas.
Yeah.
Well,
beautiful.
They had just come out, so there's the weird whistling was going on, and we were in the wrong pasture. Then finally we found the right gate. There's the gate, they were talking about. And we just ate them, all day. And
dude, that's so cool, man. Like I said, I was never shown the spot, or I never tried hard enough because you got to go and flip Patty's the cow shit over. And it's underneath the cow shit, usually. Or
on the side.
On the side,
On the side,
okay,
right.
Yeah.
Right, but it's, I guess that manure, is like the best growing stuff anyway. So.
Yeah, it's like
but it has
super
to be
rich.
The right place. Again, we were in another cow pasture with cow patties,
Yeah.
But it wasn't growing there. We had to be in this right one. So I'm not sure what that is.
It has to do with something that the cow's eating too, and the climate's got to be perfect.
Yes, but you know how mushrooms are, the funguses, they're like a whole underground thing. It's one of the, other than aspens, they're the largest growing.
Yeah, they communicate they communicate with each other underground, right? They've got a whole. Yeah, dude. God, mushrooms are crazy, dude.
So anyway, back to my friends Barbara and Sam in Haight-Ashbury. So I ran out of money. Maybe I had even hepatitis at the time. I'd never been on a plane. My parents sent me money to fly back on my 21st birthday from Haight-Ashbury.
Nice.
And I left the people there. Then so I'm in New York, and I hook up, Barbara and Sam come back, and we hook up, and she had this friend David, and he was the A character guy I was talking about.
Okay.
So I'd hang with him, and we'd do our wake and bake, and he would say, "Let's hit it," and we'd go out, whatever we were gonna do.
Yeah.
He knew lots of people. Anyway, he knew this woman, Rita Greenfield, who I said went to the League for Spiritual Discovery.
Part of the tribe.
Right. So that's how I met Rita and her 3 kids. And anyway, I just wanted to get back to that, how I met this fellow. And yeah, he was friends with guys from the Chambers Brothers. Did you know them?
I'm not familiar
with them. They
with
did the song, the Black Group.
Okay.
Black Group. And a couple of them, or 3 of them were brothers, the Chambers Brothers. And they had a song, Time Has Come Today. And there's like a whole inner part where it's just this weird music. Bam, ba-da-da-dum, bam, ba-da-da-da. And then they go off into this whole weird thing. And one of them sings, "And my soul has been psychedelicized." So anyway, he was friends with them. We went over to their apartment and stuff. And they were playing this gig in we were in California at the time, and they were playing this gig where we went to see them in at the University of California Davis campus, and they were playing with this band called All Men Joy, which became the Allman Brothers.
Really?
Yeah, they were All Men Joy before they were.
Dude, that's so funny.
But it's kind of a cool name. Again,
still pretty cool. Yeah,
they were
on the right track.
You take these Southern boys, give them some acid. We used to say, you can be the burliest, meanest truck driver or something. For example, have them take LSD, and it changes their whole mindset.
It puts a wrinkle
stuff.
into their brain that, we were saying, never leaves.
Exactly. The door has stayed open.
And it seems like we need to get acid into the White House immediately. And I don't want to get political. I should have never said that. But, dude, like, yeah, it's a game changer, man. Psychedelics are an absolute game changer.
So this guy I was mentioning, Stanley Osley Bear, who was the equipment guy for the Dead and made the acid.
Oh, yeah.
They would go to different events where there were a lot of straight people, and they would spike the coffee,
dude.
With acid.
That's some scientist shit. I mean, it's like some rapist shit, but it's also some. It's like,
I mean, this is all part of history. So
yeah.
We know this stuff, which is mad enough. But I think that's why, for myself anyway. Even with all the shit that's going on in this country and the world, you still got to have a smile on your face and just say, hey, I'm going to tune into, the good stuff.
Yeah.
Just stuff that makes each other feel better and,
yeah,
not get into this crazy stuff. But
absolutely,
we might have to deal with it.
And it's like you said, like, you can tune into it. And you're responsible for changing the frequency on your dial. A lot of people don't fucking realize that. Like, they're all bummed out and bent out of shape all the time. And it's like, well, you're the one that has the hands on the tuner,
It's like saying that, it's like you hear these people who, they're angry all the time.
Yeah, furious.
And then I know that they have their own lives and their kids that they take to football or soccer, and go to the grocery store and watch their TV programs, but they act out their anger against other people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put any labels on them or who they are. But
no names, but people do it. And some people, the scary people, don't even realize they're doing it.
That's part of it,
that
too.
shit is terrifying because, and maybe not terrifying, but that shit freaks me out a little because it's like, dude, you're completely oblivious to the fact that you're just an absolute shithead. And I feel like, dude, I'm not trying to be like that. Like, I don't want to be like, I don't think I am, but it's just like, I mean, what are the things that I'm completely oblivious to that I just think about that sometimes. I don't know.
Say that again.
What are the things in this world that I am completely oblivious to? Whether it's my character, something about my character,
mm-hmm.
Like a character flaw or something about my state of mind or
mm-hmm.
just something that I feel to be fundamentally true that's just not.
Well, again, even if it is, we all have flaws.
Yeah.
As they say in our people, at least from New York, everyone has their shtick.
Yeah.
There's always something. But like you were saying earlier about controlling, being able to control the dial, have a governor on your, output or whatever it is. I don't know.
A governor, a limiter. Yeah. Dude, there is a limiter on a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And it's cultural, I think, too, because you don't want to, step out of line. If you want to be part of society, I mean, a governor, I like that idea, the idea of a governor. Uh-huh. It's almost like a ball and chain, it's like you're capable of so much. The potential is so high, but for some reason we're held back.
Talking about potential, I mean, here I am in this apartment building. I was lucky to get in because everything was under my wife's name when we split up. So, I haven't, some people say, like I just heard of surfing, and I saw Oprah Winfrey talking to Nora O'Donnell and, saying, oh, shit. I lost my train of thought.
Oprah Winfrey talking to Nora O'Donnell.
Well, whatever we were saying so much.
Dude, I heard some crazy shit about Oprah Winfrey. That she's into, trafficking children and shit?
I don't think so. I don't.
You're a
think,
diehard.
Yeah,
You're a diehard.
I don't think any of those.
You're a diehard
Any of
Oprah fan.
those Q or conspiracy stuff or dark, organizations with dark. What do they call it?
Like conspiracy theorists or Illuminati.
No, like there's always like there's something sinister about a whole group of people that are controlling everything. There are good and bad people. So bad people are in big positions that they could do certain things that are fucked up. You know, but it's not like this whole idea of a conspiracy. I mean, some people have gotten to a point where it's almost like people say, Democrat, they're all pedophiles. What kind of statement is that?
People have been saying shit like that.
What kind of statement is that? It's like so crazy. And,
it is,
whatever it is. I mean, and listen, a lot of this stuff, again, I didn't want to name people, but a lot of this stuff has come up to the surface because of Trump, because he lies about everything, and he says everything about him is a lie. So...
Yeah, it's funny because I'm not like a huge fan of Trump, but I do this podcast with a gentleman named Kirk. He goes by Captain Kirk, and he is a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And some people are, some people aren't. My dad likes Trump.
I know my mother and one of my brothers, right?
And I'm saying, like, that's the beauty of this fucking country, dude. When you can sit down and have a conversation with somebody that has completely different views.
Well, we don't talk about politics stuff.
What?
My brother and my mother, we don't talk about anything.
Which is probably a fucking smart...
There's a reason why.
It's a good
Because
choice.
people have their sides.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my life experience.
Yeah.
I knew this guy Trump from 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And the stuff he and his family were pulling.
Well, didn't he used to be a fucking Democrat? That's what I don't understand.
I don't even... Right. He had all these
his,
friends and stuff.
He changed his party because
whatever,
there was an opening in
whatever works for him
sure,
is what he does.
Yeah.
He put out this whole lie thing because he basically knew he did all these things that people are accusing him of, and the only way to not go to jail is to say that I won the election.
Well, what do you think about Melania?
About who?
Melania.
Oh, I didn't even know what's been going on with her. I haven't seen her with him or anything like that.
What do you think's going on with her?
She's probably trying to stay as far away from that guy as possible. I mean, that's what that's part of what I think it is. Listen, like I told you, he's like I heard him today, where I just surfed, and he said, again, they cheated me, and all these 4 indictments are politically oriented. He's been sued 1,500 times, long before anyone, long before he was in politics. So it's because of who he... Anyway, I didn't want to get into him. I have my view,
Listen, and like I said, I'm not pro or anti-Trump. Mm-hmm. I try to stay very centered if I can.
Right.
And very balanced if I can.
Right, I understand.
But I will say, anytime somebody brings up Trump, I bring up his wife and his daughter.
Why?
Because they're both smoke shows.
Oh, okay.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, I guess.
And it completely deflects. It deflects
he's
because
always been like that, I mean, he's been,
it deflects.
They have him
Silky.
recorded saying, "Hey, I just grabbed their pussy. They do what I want."
Right? Yeah. I mean,
so like I say, I know this guy for 40 years.
Yeah, you've been watching him.
And his family,
yeah,
right?
You've been watching him for fucking years, so you know what he's been up to. He's been in headlines forever.
By the way, he would throw Melania and his daughter under the bus if it meant to save his ass. Yeah. And he's already done that.
Yeah.
To Ivanka. Anyhow,
Ivanka.
Right. So, but the thing is, I feel it's all right to be on one side or the other.
Yeah.
And that's why this country is so great, because
I feel the same way.
You could debate that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't get too bent out of it. Even though I'm, pretty clear with my views on this. People could say I'm wrong or not. It doesn't matter. That's my view.
Yeah,
but I think it's great that we could talk about it, that
Yeah.
people could get out in the street.
Yeah.
But when some young person shoots his neighbor because he heard he was a Democrat, then we're getting out of hand.
See,
when this guy starts saying, oh, the guy that's running Hungary is so great. Oh, Putin is so great.
Yeah.
Oh, the North Korean guy is so great. All these autocrats are his heroes that he's building up. So the fear I have, folks, is that if he's reelected, we're going to become more an autocracy. I mean, we have the Speaker of the House.
What do you mean by autocracy?
Autocracy is where you have one person rules, and everyone has to follow what that is.
Isn't that like a dictatorship?
Like a dictatorship,
yeah.
right. And he's saying things right out of the dictator's manual that come out of the mouth of Mussolini and Hitler.
I got to get my hands on that manual.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You know, if you Google that, the dictator's manual, it would have a whole bunch of
I bet you that's
PowerPoints that what they do.
Dude, I bet you that would skyrocket your fucking.
Well, you know
skyrocket your social media.
So there's
followers.
There's an expression that's out there that he who accuses his opponents of bad things are usually the ones committing the crimes.
He who smelt it dealt it.
Stuff like that, you know. So, you know, like the book 1984 with Newspeak.
Great book.
Newspeak, you know.
Yeah. Love
is hate. Peace is war. You know,
constantly editing,
right.
Changing the course of history.
I'm going to read something that's going to go out on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
And it you know, again, we could agree to disagree. We could disagree, whatever it is. But I found this interesting because it's coming from my point of view. I understand that.
Yeah.
You know, people come from their point of view. I mean, it's
you got to.
That's how it is.
That's what makes things interesting in this world. You know,
it's how it is. This was a letter on December 20th. It's regarding. This is the title. It was in the Denver Post opinion page. And it's regarding Trump derangement syndrome alive and well. A letter to the editor. While the letter writer, because this person is reacting to the letter writer, is laughing hysterically, and his, quote, own good opinion of Mr. Trump grows, end of quote, the former president is quoting Hitler and praising autocrats around the globe. It is unfathomable one would have a, quote, good opinion of a man who is guilty of fraud, liable for sexual assault, indicted for numerous felonies, impeached twice, who mocked a disabled reporter and made disparaging remarks about Gold Star families, who called fallen soldiers, quote, losers and, quote, suckers. One wonders about the morals of people who admire Mr. Trump.
Oh my God, Kirk is going to love this.
Valerie M. It has her full name in here, from Lakewood.
Uh-huh.
A woman from Lakewood wrote that.
Kirk, my editor, is going to fucking lose his shit over this.
There you go. That's right.
That's
all
powerful.
of them would.
Yeah.
Listen, you know, when the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons would come to our door, I never felt that. I mean, I didn't care about pulling the thread of their fabric and having it fall apart. I don't care about that. You know, let them live their own lives as long as they're not pushing their shit on me.
Right.
And in more serious ways than even we've seen that I might fear in the future. And it's like with anything, and perhaps even me. I mean, if someone could show me the light, everything would change. So
yeah, I've been looking for the light for years.
So the and this is just an example. The House, the Speaker of the House, second in line as president, this guy Mike Williams that just got elected to Speaker of the House, believes the Earth is 6,000 years old, and we humans have lived with the dinosaurs, and all they're waiting for is Jesus to come down with the rapture and take every good one away and leave everyone else to burn. This is the Speaker of the House. So, and this is actual truth. This is what he believes.
What about separation of church and state?
Right.
He
They
doesn't
don't
say a
believe
word
that.
about it.
They believe this is
He's not preaching.
white Christian country.
Because that's what he believes, but he's not talking about it, is he?
No, not
in
always.
public.
Not always, right.
Or he slips it in every once in a while,
Yeah,
probably.
this thing. So, for example, they had a big, there's all kinds of bad stuff going on the border, right?
Yeah.
Because people want to come to the country. They think it's free. They can't do anything where they are. All right, so it's a big problem. And no one's had a good idea yet what to do. But they had a big rally down there the other day. And I see someone with the they had the American flag by one side of the stage and what's called the Gadsden flag on the other side of the stage. The Gadsden flag is that kind of yellowish flag with a coiled up snake, and it says, "Don't tread on me."
Yeah, sure.
Well, they'd just as well tread on anyone else.
Well, they're treaders, but they don't want to get treaded on. But
Right.
They
So
are
this
treaders
is the
themselves.
kind of thing that worries me.
Yeah.
That free speech and free exchange of ideas might get lost in the shuffle with the type of people that I see coming along. Mm-hmm. And I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. Because, even Trump himself says, this is like the revenge tour. If he gets elected, he's going to go after his enemies.
But Melania, think about Melania.
If I don't see her again, it's fine.
She's in lingerie. She's on a yacht. She's sipping champagne.
Hey, good for her. She doesn't have to deal with stuff at the border or hunger in the inner cities and stuff.
You like older women?
Yeah,
I like older women.
The dark state. The dark state. That's what I was
dark
trying to-
state.
Right.
Sure.
No, they're just good people and bad people, and a lot of bad people have control of a lot of stuff, and they could make decisions about it.
Yeah. Do you think there's a group of people that are at the reins of the planet? Do you think there's a group of people that are controlling everything? Do you think there's one person that's controlling everything? Do you think that's the case with America? Do you think? Because I feel like our government is kind of like a smoke and mirror show.
Well,
it's kind of like a puppet show. It's not real.
It's hard to really say, but it's sort of always been the case as long as we've been around that money talks.
Money talks.
You got money, you could, do a lot of things, control a lot of things, buy a whole new golf, group thing, and then buy people with money to leave the PGA Tour to go there because it's the Saudi fund,
Money talks is such a good dude. That's killer. That's going to be the name of the episode.
No, money talks. Part of what makes money talk, right? We had such a big thing. People like to blame Biden. We had such a big thing with the inflation and what do you call it, when they couldn't get the goods in and stuff.
Oh, the supply
chain problems. Well, early on, and I knew people who did this back in the 70s, like their father had an advertising business, and they made stuff, they made shirts. Well, it was cheaper to have it made in China and make more money when you bring it back. Oh, we could drill an oil well, but let's cap it because it's cheaper to get it from the Saudis.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden we don't have this stuff here. And then there's a problem.
There's a fucking problem.
Because it was people just wanted to make money. And it makes sense,
Yeah.
I'm all for commerce and free enterprise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But again, we used to have this statement, money is what money does. You could do good things with money or you could just control it for your own uses, and
same with it. Just like anybody can act, negatively or positively. Anybody can be good or bad. Good people, bad people. What you can do with money, you could use it for good or evil.
Right. So what I use the example. You could be philanthropic, or you could sit sipping your martinis at the country club after you finish your round of golf and not care about a whole lot.
Yeah. And is that wrong?
It is what it is. Again, I just as well not judge that and let the other things happen in a better way.
Yeah.
As long as, again, they're not saying you can't smoke weed, you can't marry someone of your own sex, or you can't control your own body and not be able to get an abortion.
They're still low-key doing that shit right now.
That's right. It's happening.
It's bullshit.
Well,
I mean,
but that's what it is. That's why.
So what do we do? What do we do? We start a fucking militia?
You know, it's funny you say that because I feel that, you know, we're so open. We're such a big country. We have so many positive things that are happening with all the weirdness that it will overcome any of this. But I would say to my friends, well, if it came to it, I'd have to man the barricades.
Yeah.
As much of a non-violent person as I am, but just like the French Revolution or something else, you know.
Yeah.
Because listen, you know, the people that are supporters have caches of their AR-15s and thousands of rounds of ammunition. You know, I don't. No one I know, you know, has that. And I know a lot of people. So
I just met a guy with an arsenal. I'm actually pretty stoked on it.
There you go.
Because, you know, that's the thing is you got to know a guy. Because I don't have an arsenal, you know.
Well, anyway, you know, people... for the longest time, you always had these groups of people, like the Arin race, you know, up in Idaho, you know, against the government. There was the stuff with Ruby Ridge, you know, and whatever it is, or the thing with Koresh, you know, where they tried to stop him because they thought kids
that's an interesting story.
Yeah, so you know, so when you hear some of these back to the land people that are building their bunkers that have fear of the government's just people, you know.
Yeah, it's people that are just going 9 to 5, clocking in. Like most of them are just trying to get by.
So you know, they think the other side.
True.
They're afraid of like some kind of change where people are more cultural. They don't want blacks and Latinos and Asians and Jews here. They don't.
Yeah. But that's
and so, you know, so there's always going to be this kind of tension there. But then, you know, could you take a deep breath and say, hey, listen, I understand that. But I'm still going to go to the symphony next week, and I'm still going to go visit my friends, and I'm still going to roll my doobs, and I'm still going to go enjoy my, you know, nature, and that's what I'm not going to let that affect me in the here and now. But like I said, if that changes, I'll have to man the barricades. You know?
If that changes, how long do you think you would last if the lights went out and water stopped coming out of the tap?
Probably not long. Oh yeah, right, exactly. And
how long? Do you think estimated?
No,
estimation.
we are so connected. You know, it's funny you say because you know I was in Florida, right?
The water sucks down there.
I know. My brother. You know, well, first of all, the reason why I was able to give my friend my brother and his wife drove down there. I flew down there, then I drove back with my brother, stopping off and giving people stashes for us to hold for when we go back down there also.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because we don't want to carry it on the plane or anything.
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
I mean, nobody gives a shit, but...
No, they do, you know. I mean, at my age,
I
wouldn't want them to hassle me,
Nobody's going to give a shit, man. How much did you carry? I mean, did you have a pound? How much did you have?
Well, we had like maybe quarter pound with us.
A quarter pound is... You're starting to get up there. You're starting to get up there with the
I read the laws in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and Georgia. If you had over 10 pounds, you get 30 years. Easy.
Over 10 pounds, you're going to jail.
30 years, I'm saying. Not just to jail.
Like prison. Like
right.
Real deal lockup.
Right, you know. And if it was an ounce...
It's not worth the risk.
If it was an ounce and a leaf...
Yeah.
You could get a year and a $20,000 fine.
Better safe than sorry is a real.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a real thing,
you know.
Yeah,
and it's not. Yeah. You know, it's funny because with weed, like when I went down there last year, all my hippie friends weren't doing stuff anymore, so I couldn't get any.
Yeah.
It's almost 10 days without weed. It's okay, you know. It's
that's another thing too. You're not going to go through withdrawal.
Right. You don't have that. Yeah. You know, cigarettes was bad. You know, for anyone to quit. Yeah. You might still be smoking.
I am.
Yeah.
I remember when you used to smoke menthols, American Spirit.
Right,
menthols,
we used to come up and smoke.
Yeah, so you haven't... Dude,
5.5 years.
Wow. Imagine if I quit at that same time. It would be
5.5 years. Since you know, there were years
Congratulations on that, dude. Seriously, congrats.
Thank you. I feel great, you know, and, you know, I have nothing against it. But again, I didn't have a lot of money at the time, so that was whatever it was. And I wasn't smoking that much, maybe between 2 and 4 cigarettes a day, unless there was something heavy-duty going on.
Yeah.
but it's still costing a lot of money. I don't know how much a pack costs today.
Dude,
if you got American
so
Experience, that's what I smoked. Yeah.
I mean, $11-12.
Right, there you go. So,
which is just
so that was one
absurd.
reason. And then
you want to eat a pack of cigarettes and a sandwich? I mean, forget about it.
And you have to bag it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You got to bag it yourself. Fucking dog shit.
It's like I find, even with all this stuff, and you're hearing me. I have my strong reality about what I believe, but I mainly like to laugh, and let us laugh. Let us find a little humor in this too, and I do.
Yeah,
and I do.
Absolutely.
Even with all this. I mean, it's hard to have humor about kids being shot up in schools.
Well, think about this. This is kind of I don't know. It's something I heard. I don't know if it's necessarily a personal theory that I developed myself. It's something that I heard, but it was interesting to me, and it's the idea that like human beings aren't really designed to know about all this extra shit that's going on. Like our brain is designed to be able to take care of our tribe and our village. And we're kind of like this old animal that's been around for a while, and like biologically our brain is set up to like, okay, handle the kids in the village, handle getting water and food, and make sure everybody eats and everything's cool. But nowadays with the internet, everybody's, in France there was a bombing, and there was a fucking school shooting, in Colorado, up the street there was this, and it's, you know what I mean? It's like in Israel, all this crazy shit's going on, and it's like all this shit's out of our hands, and it's one of those things where it's like there's a lot of people that are getting so stressed out. I mean, it's a stressful thing, don't get me wrong, but it's like it's out of your hands, and we're not set up to deal with that. I feel like I feel like we can.
Well, I disagree with that.
I feel like we can.
Well, part of what is it that, I mean, humankind has been around, like Homo sapien, hominids, 100,000 years, 200,000 years. So there's a lot of growth, this evolution. And, you hear, like, with Eastern thought and, or Western thought, that people can become enlightened. We have that capacity. And part of that enlightenment is understanding those things which we have no control over. Mm-hmm. And still have a feeling about it and absorb it and have our views about it. So, me personally, I'm torn with this whole thing because I'm Jewish, I support Israel, but I hate what's going on to the people there,
mm-hmm.
So. And so, how I deal with that, I do, whatever it is. I can't control that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still,
it's worth tough. Knowing. It's worth knowing that it's going on.
Yeah, and try to see where all of that is coming from. Because I know that there was this card that someone had many years ago, and the card had a little cutout hole in the center, and it was Israel. And you open up the card, and it has all of the Islamic world around them.
Uh-huh.
There's just a little thing. I know they're technologically advanced in a lot of ways, but people, but listen, the Jews have been put down for a long time. People who we're talking about in a general way still believe that Jews control the world, or they did this, or they did that. I
was talking about that on the last episode.
Whatever. It's so ridiculous. But because some of that hate has come for a long time, and it still is ongoing. I mean, why do people... You're not born to hate black people if you're white. You're developed. It's what information you're getting from the people around you, from the experiences you have.
Nature versus nurture.
Yeah, it's not genetic. Some aspects of us are genetic for sure, especially our health. But these things are taught or learned, and so it's hard to know why. Well, I know my dad never painted any group with like just one broad brush.
Yeah.
If someone did him good, he'd appreciate it. If someone did it bad, he'd write that down. He'd know that happened. But it wasn't a group,
Yeah. It's like everybody starts out at a base level.
But that's what you were talking about earlier about this tribal thing, so yeah, I mean, I understand it's true, you're in tribes, in certain ways, but it doesn't mean that you can't, still go out and interact and merge and absorb from another tribe.
I'm just always thinking about this, where is the breakdown taking place? Like, I have this feeling like, and it's just a cool idea, I guess, just that like we're human beings and we're running on really old hardware, like our bodies.
That's part of it.
And we're trying to run new software on old hardware.
Ooh.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, yes, I do, but I'm not a technological person.
It's like
yes,
we're trying to run like brand new
shit
on an old Windows 95 computer.
We come from cavemen.
Yeah, and we're still got that same biological setup.
I have to have the woman, to reproduce,
exactly.
Just like other mammals.
Yeah,
and so there is that there that is in our fiber. Yes.
Yeah.
Just like other mammals and creatures. I mean, I saw her at Jamie's. She had this National Geographic on, and there were praying mantises mating.
Yeah, and those things are fucking weird.
And then they ate then the female ate the male.
I heard about that. That happens in nature sometimes.
Spiders, black widow spiders.
That shit happens with humans too.
But anyway,
that shit just happened with me with Kelly.
We had
she left me like a black widow. She didn't kill me. She didn't eat me. But I mean, I had to.
She's not here.
No, she fucking left.
I was wondering because I thought I didn't know. Anyway,
is she black? She's like
for
a black
the second
widow.
time.
Yeah, for the second time. She left me for the second time. Thanks, Phil.
Oh my God. Well,
yeah, she left me twice.
Like I said, she didn't eat you completely, but
Yeah, like I didn't get murdered, but she's still like I got to pay. I wasn't planning on paying the whole rent. Yeah, she'll be back.
So anyway, we have, like you said, we have this old hardware there, but again, it's adapting the new software to the old hardware that we have. We can't just be like there's some like word about the type of people like a Luddite or something. You just can't think of anything other than like your old
troglodyte
software. Maybe troglodytes. Well, that's that. No, it's not a one-celled mollusk. That's a troglodyte. No, that's troglodyte.
What you're looking for?
Troglodyte. Yes, there you go.
Troglodyte.
Yeah. Anyway, what's fun with me? I'm not technologically advanced. Again, I'm going to need help getting my Hulu package from Verizon together because I cut my Comcast cable cord.
Yeah.
And so now I have to like update all this other stuff. So I haven't been able to watch the football games. I'm into it. It's not that big a deal. But
dude, my mom's super into it. The Cowboys are in the playoffs this year, so she's like super pumped because the first time since like the 90s. My mom, she's in Dallas, so she's she's rooting for the Cowboys.
Do you know what happened yesterday?
Oh, the Packers kill them?
They blew them out, man.
Really?
My friend turned on the TV. It was 27-0.
Good God.
They lost like 45, and then the game was over. Green Bay scored 45. Jerry Jones is really pissed off, and that's good for me. I don't care for him.
I can't believe he's still alive. How old's Jerry Jones?
He's been around a long time.
Yeah.
He was on Arkansas's last national championship football team, so that
he was on the team. Yeah, Jesus.
And I think something like that anyway. But the thing is, again, I it's like with these people about, we'll say Trump. It's if they believed anything different, that Biden did win the election. We've always had fair elections here. They had 50 court suits that showed no. They counted 3 times, in all these states. Nowhere was there any kind of big fraud, but he perpetrated this big lie. So all his followers believed this too. And if any of them had an aha moment and said, it really was fair. This is the first time in history that there wasn't a peaceful transfer of power in the United States. That's democracy.
I just don't. I don't trust the vote.
No, I understand, but they made from the beginning. Trump said when he lost to Ted Cruz in Iowa before he was the nominee, it's rigged. He's been saying that forever. It's rigged. So people are believing. Nothing's perfect.
I think it's rigged.
Nothing's perfect, but they never found, there's been ever anything found about any kind of fraud that would have changed the election.
I mean...
And you could believe otherwise, Arin. That's okay. But I know from my experience of 70 years, knowing these elections and knowing how these things went down, knowing that people in the South, they wouldn't even let them vote.
The thing is, I'm not saying that, like, it's rigged, Trump should have won. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think the election's rigged. Period.
Nah. It's just, it's our form. It's better than most anywhere in the world. But
that
it's
may be
interesting
true.
because only 50% of eligible voters vote anyway.
Right.
And so in some countries, I don't know if it's a law by death, but they make everyone vote, to give their word. And like maybe Australia or New Zealand or something.
Yeah.
But again, nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
But we always change power. One election, the Democrats rule the House. One election, the Republicans rule the House. It's been going on forever.
I mean...
It's only when he came along and said, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. He thought he was going to lose the election against Hillary. And then he didn't say it was rigged when he won.
As long as clean water keeps coming out of that tap, Silky, and I can go get my fucking Wendy's. If I can get my Wendy's,
this is Denver water I'm drinking.
I get my new Wendy's fries, and I can get clean water.
Well,
I'm not complaining.
You might have to man the barricades then, Arin.
Honestly, that's fine because I'm a decent shot.
Again, okay. So this is my view. I understand. It's only one person's view, but again. It comes from experience, and my experience, my observations, how I've seen things happen,
and that's valuable.
How I see people react to one another.
You're an elder Jew.
I'm an elder Jew.
That's
I'm an elder American, is what I am.
Yeah, that's valuable fucking shit, man.
I was born here, raised here, grew up on Mickey Mantle, man. Come on. I can't be any more white, even though I'm Jewish, than anyone,
I grew up on
I still use number 7 in all my good luck things.
Would you consider yourself a boomer? Would you consider
yourself? I'm a first-year boomer.
First year?
Oh, I'm a first-year.
Premier boomer.
I was born in 46.
Wow. Insane.
Right, and then went to 64. So after the war, the soldiers got together, with the praying mantises got together and screwed around and had offspring. I was the first year that happened after the war. So that's why they call them first-year baby boomers. And it was such a boom because everyone came back at the same time and got their significant others pregnant.
That makes sense, yeah. Everybody gives the millennials a lot of shit, but I feel like we're going to be the generation that saves the planet.
Well, I think millennials give boomers a lot of shit. Like, I saw this, again, I Google, right? I have my little phone, my little smartphone that knows more than me.
Yeah.
And if I want to know something, I look it up. Or I just surf when, Google will put up a bunch of stories. And there's always something like, 20 things that boomers do that are ridiculous, that they made, that are horrible. And they started naming all these things that we ate, but it was the people before us that created it all. So people get their info like kind of mixed up.
Yeah.
Like they might say, oh yeah, the boomers, that whole weird Vietnam War. Well, half the boomers were against that Vietnam War.
They didn't want to go there. Yeah.
No, not just didn't want to go, we're against it.
Yeah.
So we weren't supporting that. I was protesting that.
Yeah.
I think that in that sense, millennials have a little trouble. I think more what they're upset with.
My dad was talking shit on millennials.
That I'm
my
getting
old boss.
Social Security and they're not.
Sure.
So fuck them.
Yeah, because we're not going to.
I worked all my life.
We're not going to get any social. We're not going to get any Social Security. Yeah. We're not going to get any Social Security.
Well, then you better start saving in a good money growing account.
I know. I got to get this job at Guitar
Hey,
Center.
listen, I didn't start saving until I was 62, and that was 15 years
That's
ago.
late. That's late.
That's late. Well, I mean, I had years when I was like thumbing my way around the country, you know?
Dude. I'm actually trying. I'm about to get into that stage of my life. I actually admire that about you, Phil, because you're well traveled. And dude, I remember last time we talked about you. You were like, you lived on a farm on a commune.
Yeah, kind of. Mm-hmm.
Barefoot.
Yep. Sometimes I had my shoes on and nothing else.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I'll tell you a funny story then. So, it happened to be a bunch of ex-New York Jewish hippies that were living in California and other parts of the country. And we decided to get this farm. And I wanted to stay on the West Coast because I really liked it. And my friends Saul and Eve, and Saul was this other A-type person.
Sounds like a Jew. Jew?
Yeah, he was Jewish too, but his parents were from Baghdad, so he was like a Mideastern Jewish guy. Yeah, his mother made really great pickled turnips. Anyway, Saul and his wife, who was pregnant, allowed me to go with me to Northern California, Southern Utah, to go to these communes to see if we would buy land there. Because the women were getting pregnant, we started to grow vegetables and stuff. We thought it would be a good idea to have a spot of the earth that we could keep clean in our own kind of thing. And it was that was called the Back to the Land era, and that was like the early 70s. And so we knew this guy who would give these lectures in California called Stephen Gaskin. And then he went on a big caravan with all these hippies that were kind of following him. And there were families and singles and couples. And they like got the school buses and the vans. And they had this big caravan. They went around the country. And he would do talks at the universities, different places. And they ended up getting a farm in Tennessee, south of Nashville, about 60 miles. And they called it The Farm. And we knew people that were in the group, and we used to go to listen to him when he would do his talks in San Francisco. It was called Monday Night Class, and we would go from Marin County into San Francisco to listen and stuff. And so Saul and Eve really had their minds set on getting a property in Tennessee. But they let me go on this trip, and then we all decided we were going to do that. So they went east, and they found this farm in North Middle Tennessee, 250 acres, 100-year-old, smallish but good-sized farmhouse, a huge log barn where they used to hang tobacco, a bunch of bottomland where we could grow vegetables, and hillsides where we could grow fruit trees, and
I feel like I could smell.
And then they had another animal barn. We were vegetarians, but being on the farm, it made sense. Okay, we're gonna have a milk cow. We made our own yogurt. We made our own butter.
That's so cool.
We had chickens, for our eggs and stuff.
So cool.
And and it was really cool. So and that farm that got started is still there.
Really?
So a bunch of people, there's still hundreds and hundreds of people. At one time the farm they had
there's still
that
people
other
at
farm.
this...
No, that other farm, not ours. The farm, right? Yeah, you could look it up. The farm.
I will.
In Tennessee, and you could read about it. And so part of them is still there, and I think a lot of the kids kind of grew up and said, God, what a weird lifestyle, and took off like any of us would have done, which we did, from our
counterculture shit.
Right, exactly. You got to find your own way. And but anyway, there was nothing too negative about it, I don't think. And so we got this farm in Tennessee. Oh, yes, I was saying, so I had these barns, they had other outbuildings, big house. We had a spring. A little spring, didn't come out all the time. down from the hillside. And anyway, we bought all this 250 acres for $15,000.
Well, you had it bought outright.
Bought outright for $15,000. We bought it.
250 acres.
200 with these buildings on it.
With the
and
spring.
the open land. So the spring, what we did, it wasn't that much. Yeah, they didn't have running water into the house. They just had a pump on the side of the house.
Like a well?
A well pump, yeah, this family.
Oh my God.
And so what we did was, under the spring, we had 2 concrete 750-gallon tanks that we had one of the neighbors get up there. They dug a spot out, and we put them on top of one another with a hole on the top. And so we had 1,500 gallons of water, so the spring would fill up the 1,500 gallons.
So you had reserve.
And we just had gravity feed down into the house.
Nice.
Yeah, so, so I was trying to get to the funny story about, you said, walked around barefoot, and I said I walked in shoes, but the rest of me was naked. So at one point we had about 15 people. It varied, different times, and we had different days that we would do certain things. So we were pretty austere. I wasn't smoking any weed at that time. We were serious in other ways about what we were doing. And so like one day, like Monday, I think, was fasting day. So we wouldn't eat all day. Even if we were working, maybe we'd have a little something at night. Tuesday was silence day. We wouldn't talk, just do our thing and play our music, and stuff like that. And Wednesday was something else. Thursday was gut time where we'd tell how you feel about stuff, and Sunday was like communion day, where we would do something like and everyone would get a different turn, a certain Sunday, and like someone would want to throw the I Ching,
Nice, yeah.
and do different things, right? So this one day, we were going to do yoga on the side of the house. We had some grass by the house, and of course, at that time, we were in our early mid-20s. There was nothing big about hanging out naked together. So we did the yoga naked. So there's a group of us, about maybe 7 or 8 at the time, doing this yoga naked, and we're at the back of a holler. You know what that means? You're back there. That's it. It's dead end.
Uh-huh.
So we heard a vehicle coming up the road. There could be only one place they're going, and that's to us. It turned out to be a group of Jehovah's Witnesses. And they sat down with us while we were naked, and we're having this back and forth
About God?
talk. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Listen,
That's
maybe
hilarious.
those times could be lived again. You have the Burning Man thing, but that's a whole different thing anyway.
Yeah.
This went on in this freedom of stuff without this weird sexuality that might go down. Not that people weren't turned on by each other, but it was just natural. It was just a natural. I'm fortunate and happy to have gone through it, and this was happening all over the country at all of the different communes, and like the area where we moved in North Middle Tennessee, we were mainly the first big communal group in the area. Yeah. There was someone else that bought land a little before us who was like a hippie, and his wife who was pregnant from Florida. And then there was another group who was initially from Indiana. It's just a family that had land there. Who I saw, the guy from that farm, just a month or so ago at this biodynamic conference that we're having at the Westin Hotel.
How's he looking? Is he good? Is he looking all right?
Did he look all right?
Yeah.
Well, this is what he looked like. Was he had hair down to here?
Uh-huh.
Oh, he was in good shape.
Okay.
He walked around barefoot. As a matter of fact, if you look up the barefoot farmer, Macon County, Tennessee, you'll find out about him.
Okay.
The barefoot farmer. So anyway, this guy Jeff, who knew my brother, because my parents couldn't handle him, so they sent him down to the farm, and I became his guardian for a few years.
Oh, crazy.
A couple of years. And he became friends with this guy, Jeff. and they saw each other, and we might go to the 50th anniversary of the summer solstice that took place at the summer solstice celebration that took place at one of our friends' farms. So this guy's putting it on at his farm.
Dude, that's special, man. That'll be really special. I'm telling you,
the people that I saw that I hadn't seen in years,
Good
that
people.
I've known for 50 years, these people are still vibing,
Yeah.
and doing good stuff. A lot of them still.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
My high school reunion's coming up in 2 years. 20 years.
20.
Crazy. Like,
Crazy.
20 years, man.
Yeah. I only went to my 30th.
Really?
And that was a lot of fun.
But dude, still talking about the commune, like I'd like to make my own commune one day and possibly start a religion.
Yeah, these are like life cycle events that you've been through. You're connecting with people that you had something with at another time. My 60th high school reunion is coming up this summer.
Really?
Yeah, 2024, man.
Dude.
I graduated in 64.
Dude. Are you going?
I don't know.
Is it
I don't think so.
It's in New York?
Yeah. Long Island, yeah.
Yeah.
General Douglas MacArthur High School.
Crazy. Dude, I'd love to see that yearbook picture.
It's like even with our farm, a lot of people could start out with all these idealistic, things that they want to accomplish, and it doesn't always work out because we all have our unique personalities.
Yeah.
And to me, a lot of it turned out, because a lot of people were having kids, and it turned out the nuclear families wanted to be more together, and do the thing, not with the commune. But a lot of others lasted. So this guy, the Barefoot Farmer,
yeah,
I guess everyone's going to look him up.
Yeah,
he hadn't cut some of his chin hair since I knew him, and I hadn't seen him in 45 years.
So was it like down to his knees, or
it was down past his knees?
Crazy.
Just this one. He had one
like a goatee
long thing all the way down.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
crazy.
And he was barefoot when he was at this conference.
It's on brand. It's on brand.
He's the barefoot guy.
Yeah, like it's got to. You can't.
Like I said, I wore shoes.
What's he gonna walk? He's gonna walk in with Timberlands on. Like
I remember. One time I went out to our compost heap to dig it around with the pitchfork with my boots on and naked.
Yeah. Work's got to get done.
Everyone, it was like just the kind of freedom that I know people are experiencing that in their own ways now. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of a pretty big universal thing at the time, and I'm blessed that I was part of that era.
Yeah.
Not many people get pictures of me on stage with the Grateful Dead in 1968.
Yeah. Dude, how cool
it just happened because I happened to be a first-year baby boomer, so I was around.
Yeah. Straight up. Dude, I'm grateful to be sitting here having this conversation with you because, dude, I wasn't around. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm trying to get wisdom from you in any way, shape, or form that I can because, like you said, you've been around.
We're talking about important stuff, So we were with these people, friends of my brother's, who we stopped at after we left my parents and a couple of friends in Boca Raton that I showed you the picture of. We drove to this place called The Villages in Florida. It's off of the Florida interstate between Orlando and Gainesville. And it's a planned community, and they have about 10 golf courses with 27 holes each.
Jeez.
And there were some big houses. These friends had big houses. And we were talking about something. I can't remember what it was. But I said, it's interesting. We get all this information. We hear all this different stuff. But then we synthesize it from our world experience. And that's how we come up with what it is. And they both, just kind of nodded, yes, because, again, we could butt heads about anything. There are differences. But, that's what I found is that I've just synthesized all this stuff about religion, too. Mm-hmm. Synthesized all of that stuff because I studied a lot of different ones,
Yeah.
And again, my thing if we could just live the golden rule, we'd be okay.
The golden rule. That can't be a Jewish thing, but my dad
historically it goes back then.
My dad made me.
It doesn't necessarily. It goes back a long time. With,
a lot of people did.
Man. So what is it? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? But then there's the opposite of that, and that says, don't do unto others that you wouldn't want them to do to you.
Well, that just sounds like some weird double negative shit. It's the same thing, isn't it?
It is the same thing, but reversed. You're saying treat others like you would. Yes, treat others, but like you would want to be treated.
But
so that's
don't treat others
like you don't want to be treated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So that's what.
That's like the even more in-depth version of it.
Right. So it's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
That's all. That perspective turned around.
Totally.
But both of them, would be something that there'd be less violence and chaos. If people were like that.
The golden rule, and they call it the golden rule because it's in first place.
And it's not easy because everyone has their road to hoe and stuff like that.
Road to hoe.
Road to hoe, or road to hoe. I guess the workers would hoe the road, but if you're a farmer, you're rowing, with a hoe. You're hoeing the row, right? So everyone has their stuff that they got to dig or work out, and it's different than others. So it's not all simple, of course, and we're still growing and evolving and trying to figure these things out.
Yeah,
because you would think that it was pretty clear that there would be a separation of church and state, but other people feel differently about that.
Yeah. So
that's also a theocracy, which would be a country led by the religious sect.
Dude, like I said before, I'm trying to start something for a few reasons, because I feel like I'm connecting with the universe in a way that's real and tangible. And I'm not calling it God because I feel like that's a really strong word. So I'm calling it the universe because maybe it's God, maybe it's the universe, maybe who knows what it is. But maybe it's chaos magic. I don't know, but it's something I'm working with, and also Silky, tax-free. Tax-free
to be able to think.
Well, that and if you start your own church, they're not going to tax you.
Tax-free, right?
They're not going to tax you.
Right. Yeah. Well, taxes is an interesting thing too. But
I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to dodge my taxes. But it'd be nice to make something special and not have to give the tax man a third of it.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, we're not all on the same economic plane, and. I'm getting Social Security. It comes out of taxes that I've paid.
But you've been paying them for a while.
A long time.
Yeah.
Right. And I was, just reading that, one of the things that hasn't come down in the inflation was the price of meat.
Okay.
Well, I just read an article today that, the meat packers or whatever, the cattle companies, they're making a lot of money, but they're not going to bring their prices down because they're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of this inflation happened, because people, that's why things were so expensive, not because people are greedy.
I mean, I was looking at some number, it was Brian Redband had this podcast that he was doing, and he says... And there's some number, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but it's the price of a quarter pounder meal. I think it was in either 2013 or 2018. Well, I know that's a big difference, but still, regardless, just the idea of it. It's a thought experiment. It was $6, and now it's 11 something. Right. And it's the same meal. Well, it's the same meal.
Right. But that's true. But.
With anything,
I lived in a house that was $90,000, and now it's worth $450,000.
Exactly.
Things are always going to grow that way. That's true. There is that national, cost of living. That's why I get a little more money on the Social Security, because the cost of living. Well, the cost of living is because things go up, but things go up. $200 in 1960 is $20,000 now, or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's always going to be continuing to change like that.
There's no getting away.
But then, but it's when there was the problems. Yeah, like, during the pandemic and the supply chain problem, someone was interviewing a guy that had a pretty big business, and he's in their warehouse and it's kind of empty, and for what they have to, charge higher because they have less, and, supply and demand. And he was asked, well, do you think the prices will come down when it all, works out? He said, no.
No, they're happy with the price right where it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, yeah. So we still have to figure that stuff out. I mean, why are we a country that's paying 10 times more for pharmaceutical medicine than every other country in the world?
And why is it advertised on every fucking channel? Nowhere else. Nowhere else in the world do they do that.
Right. Again, it's a funny thing, and it's not simple, but because of my experience that things have always kind of changed in their own way, and ups and down, Republican, Democrat, whatever it is.
It does that.
There's always been the changing, But then a big change occurred in the middle of the last
pandemic
decade.
Are you talking about the pandemic, or
No,
what are you
I'm
talking about?
The election of Trump.
Oh yeah, that was definitely like throwing a wrench in the.
Well, again, I don't want to get into it that much.
I don't either, because, dude, honestly, I mean, Kirk's gonna listen to this, and he's gonna have a field day, and because I think I don't know enough about politics.
I'd be glad to talk with him. Is he a big guy?
He's from Wyoming, so he is a big guy. He's a gentle giant.
Okay, he's from Wyoming. I'm from Brooklyn. All right? So you couldn't be more like opposite.
Thing is, I would love
where you started.
I would love to hear that conversation, and I didn't want to have him on because I feel like you and I hadn't had a nice sit down like this in a while. So,
right.
but I'd love to have you back on the show, on Fortune Radio, and with Kirk. Because he's a fact checker as well as a political dynamo,
right?
And he's like I said, he's very pro Trump, and you're very anti Trump. So I'd love to hear, because where the middle ground would be.
No, and you know what? And here's the thing, Arin. People I know, including myself, most of the people I know, some are very much stronger anti than I am, in a lot of ways in certain things, but. I love to find a middle ground. That's important to me. That's what this country to me is about.
Yeah, that's how I feel like
that you could be different and do your thing and have that middle ground. And say, hey, we're all trying to raise our kids. We all want them to play soccer. We all want them to be brilliant people,
well fed, well rested.
So it's always the same. Same with every country in the world.
Exactly.
Same with Jews and Palestinians.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just saying, dude, how much longer? How much longer is this going to go on? Because we're all people.
But that's where you're going back to the old hardware.
Yeah.
It's still there, and the hardware is there. It's the software that changes all the time.
Constantly, yeah.
So, again, when I talk about enlightenment and growth and this, we're capable of that. But, there's a lot of hard stuff. I mean, whatever, was laid on me, even in my early life, I'm still, reverberates in me, the positive and the negative, whatever that is, you know. Yeah. But finding the middle ground is fine with me, and I'd love to do that with someone that disagrees with me. So when Ray was here and he started, we were living together.
Oh yeah, your brother.
Right. We couldn't have a conversation with him and start screaming.
That's not healthy.
Right, and so you're not discussing. You're not trying to find.
You're trying to win. People are trying to win. Or they're trying to change people's minds.
Yeah,
tell them that they're wrong.
That's part of it, right? But people don't want to. Right, they don't want to hear that.
Especially people that are set and tried and true in their ways.
Like I say, you take one piece of thread out of the fabric of the cloak, and it could all deteriorate. So
I'm gonna get a cigarette. Do you mind if I smoke a cigarette?
So people hold on to that.
Do you mind if I smoke?
Oh, not at all. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, because
but it's funny because I had that momentary inkling. Oh yeah, I'll have a toke. No, I'd know I'd start smoking again if I ever took a toke.
I know, and I would never let myself live that down.
No, this has been a long time, and it's so easy, and it doesn't bother me when I'm around people that do smoke. I know how hard it is to let go of that.
Yeah. Oh, here, I got this for you, man.
Oh yeah, oh great.
That's the new logo, the new Fortune Radio podcast.
That's funny. It's like two faces on it.
Yeah, it's a whale. It's
this face and then this here.
Well, and actually, it's a snail.
And then this thing.
It's
right.
a snail and a whale. It's called the whale snail.
Oh, the whale snail.
And actually, that's funny that you saw that second face in it because David actually found that it's the third face. Actually, is what we've been calling it.
I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff.
Well, you're an artist. You do that shit.
Yeah, I'm an artist. I've been in
do that shit.
Mechanical drafting, and yeah, I worked for the county surveyor in Tennessee. That was fun. I was talking about that recently. It was one of our neighbors, and
when I hear county
we used
surveyor,
to work with the good old boys. We had a good time, We were all different. It was funny that we had our.
You're checking elevations for scrapers and shit. What do you when you say surveyor?
No.
What do you mean by
surveying? It was mostly land, people's property lines.
Okay.
Because they were selling, they wanted to know the property line. And it was kind of funny because you look at the deeds and they say, well, you go in a northwesterly direction about 120 feet to this stump, and then you go in a southeasterly direction
that's like
to
some
this
treasure
old rock.
That's like a treasure map shit. Lewis and Clark shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but so it was kind of, and then I go back to the office and with all the notes and do the drafting, make the plats out and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And yeah, that was fun. I liked doing that.
But I like your artwork. It was like what was I calling it? Because you like to take a picture of something, zoom in on it, and then draw.
Oh, right, yeah.
What you see on the zoom in, and it's kind of like micro.
Oh,
micro
we were
art.
talking about that, and I was
micro art.
So I was considering that because, Jerry Garcia was into art in a certain way, and so they take some of his designs, but just a little of it, a micro piece of it, and make a design on a tie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or whatever.
And only the real diehard fans will know, is that from the album? It is. It's just a little section of that album.
If they did that, yeah, right, exactly. So I thought about that with my own work because I was going to do this book with a friend of mine with some of my artwork, and some of it you could just take a piece out of it, like you were saying. Some of my more abstract or linear kind of stuff with vertical and different lines and stuff. But anyway,
I remember
horizontal.
It was like a picture of maybe a butterfly wing.
Yeah. I did. So I've been giving my art away.
Nice.
And so my friend Rusty, who lives in West Palm Beach, she said, I want some of your artwork. And so I sent her 10 pieces, and she picked out 2 of them.
Nice.
And I sent them. And I did pastels. These weren't my oil paintings. So it was kind of I had to really work on it to be able to send it to Florida.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, she had them framed.
Nice.
And put up on the wall, and I just visited her last week. And
you got to see them.
And I got to see them on the wall, and it was really nice.
That's special, man. You got some shots of that, didn't you?
So
that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that really available right now, but
because
I think I got a text without hearing it. It's the Democratic National Committee headquarters. I haven't given to them for a long time. My feeling is if they can't get what I think is a decent message across to the American people, that my $10 or $20 isn't going to help me.
It's not. Yeah, you're not taking.
I've already given.
I lost all faith in the political system long ago, long ago.
But again, I guess the bottom line, at least for now, Arin, it's probably the fairest and most equitable and best around,
that's
not necessarily. I would think Canada and England and Australia and New Zealand and a lot of other countries
have
good ways to do stuff.
That's why I'm still here. Where else would I want to go?
You know, that's why people want to come here too.
America rocks, man.
No, the saddest thing is when, not the saddest, but a sad thing, you have someone that like leaves their country where there's so much violence and cruelty, and they come here and they're starting to make a life for themselves, and they get shot anonymously.
Yeah. They get shot in the street.
They weren't doing anything. They were just shopping.
And they just get shot in the street.
No, you know, that's a pretty crazy thing. You know, little did we think how it would evolve since Columbine.
I know. And like, yeah, we're like the OG school shooting. We're like the original. We're the original school shooting state. Somebody brought that to my attention on one of our episodes. And I was like, damn, that's kind of true, because I can't remember any school shootings before Columbine. And I remember when it happened, it was like a really big fucking deal.
There were a couple of others I remember, because I was doing some work where I had to drive through certain areas, and there was this one town, Paducah, Kentucky, where this kid was upset and shot a couple of kids at his school. But just crazy. One or two, you know. Because
I remember, and like justifiably it was a big deal, but I remember, you know, I mean, think about the last school shooting. I don't even remember the name of what it was, where it was, because it just happened so regularly.
How many mass shootings have occurred since that moment? I know. It's unfathomable.
I think about Columbine, and I always think about the Batman shooting in the movie theater. That shit scares me.
I was living in Aurora.
I enjoy
with my wife, and it's funny because my wife always would say, you know, if there's like a flat tire, there'd be 7 cop cars there, you know. So she'd always kind of make fun of the Aurora police.
Well, because the response time
was... sirens going by our house and helicopters. Hi there. What a cute cat. How long have you had this guy?
That's Ruby. She I've had her for about 6 months.
6 months. Hi, Ruby. Yeah, you can come up and sniff me more. I had a cat was the total opposite of this. Solid white.
Really?
I called her Light.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, she's cool. She's a total snuggler, and she plays fetch, and she.
Yeah, I was just telling stories about her. Friends gave me the cat. First, we called her White Lightning.
Nice.
Then White, then Light. Anyway, when I decided to leave Tennessee to move to Boulder in '79, it was really tough. I couldn't bring my dog because the friend I was moving in with was in a trailer and had a male dog.
Oh, so
and my dog was a male, so there was no way I could bring him to Boulder at the time. And yeah, come on, you can come down here. Come on, yeah. So anyway, I didn't take my dog, but I was going to take Light. I was going to bring Light to Colorado with me.
Yeah.
And when I packed up all my stuff in my pickup truck, covered it up, I was going to stay at friends' house that were closer to town than where our farm was, at least where I was living at the time. And Light, because she always went out. She wasn't a house cat. Never came back that night.
She knew that. Maybe she knew.
Or whatever it was. I thought she would have been happy to be with me, whatever it was. Yeah. She didn't like the car, though. I have to say that.
Yeah.
So, but I think she went off into the woods, and anything could have got her.
True, that's true. Also, man. I mean, an owl or some shit.
An owl was the first thing I thought about.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I don't think they had coyotes down there, but an owl for sure.
Yeah. I've been taking her out every once in a while just to get her used to being outside.
But really? Do you put a leash on her?
Yeah, with the harness. I don't take her out very much, but sometimes she gets sassy. I call her Denise, like Dennis the Menace, but Denise the Menace.
She's a very mellow cat.
She's cool, right? Yeah, she's the shit. But in the mornings, sometimes she gets a little rowdy. She's still young.
Jamie has 2 cats. One of them is kind of friendly, but would not let me pick him up or come onto the couch where I was sitting.
Yeah.
The other one, I don't even go near it with my hand. I've already, been scratched and bit a couple of times.
Shit.
So it's weird. I don't know, whatever it is.
I treat that cat like she's my daughter.
You want to get back up there? Down there? Ooh, you got your running water. We didn't have those things back in the day.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
We did have electricity, but we didn't.
That's funny, dude. I just kind of was thinking, all right, so you know the dark side? Like, you're familiar with Star Wars, obviously, right? Star Wars?
Oh, right, yeah. I even have one of them with the woman who was one of the Jedi, one of the last movies, I think.
Sure.
I in Goodwill, I bought an old DVD player.
Oh, nice. That's good to have.
That in it.
That's good to have. Nice. I'm trying to get a VHS player and a DVD, a CD player is what I'm trying to get.
So anyway, you're talking about the dark side. Yeah, there's always that.
So you understand the light side and the dark side, but all right. So dark side, right? So you're familiar with like who's Darth Vader's master? I forget his name. The Sith Lord.
Oh, right. Now I haven't seen a lot of the movies.
He's the guy who uses the lightning, the blue lightning. He shoots lightning out of his hands. Are you
familiar with that scene? Yeah. The guy who looks really weird, his face with the hood on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I forget his name. It doesn't matter. But he's harnessing electricity. Okay, right. And I think the whole idea of the light side and the dark side and Jedis and harnessing the different abilities, I feel like it's rooted in truth. I feel like it's obviously an exaggerated hero's journey version of what was it, Lucas? I think it was Lucas who was it, or Spielberg?
George Lucas,
yeah.
And Spielberg would work with him on the movies.
But anyways, so it's like, all right, harnessing electricity. It's kind of like what we do, like what we're doing right here with this interview, what we do with our microwaves and our TVs and everything else.
Yeah, well, it's a semantic thing, but when we're talking about energy, back in the day when we were doing, let's say, Sufi dancing, we would put our left hand out to someone's right hand, and then we would have a right hand out on someone's left hand. So we're like transferring the energy from them through us to the next person, and we'd be in a circle and stuff like that.
That's interesting.
But so there's that reality of that kind of thing.
It's semantics, but it's like, it also, all these electronics and shit kind of, while they're nice and not inherently evil and they help us day to day, kind of get us a little farther away from nature, which would be kind of like the light side and the more free spiritual, like unplugged side. And you think about like when Darth Vader like picks somebody up with his mind and chokes them out, and it's kind of like you can do that with your mind. You can mentally choke somebody out and play a mental game of chess with them and trump the whole situation, and it's like mental kung fu. And do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't. And
is that a negative?
Are we going to meet anyone that's going to be able to choke someone with their mind? I don't think that's happened.
Not literally.
Right.
Not really actually being able to.
But people can control other people's minds by what they say.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
The preacher in the church, whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying.
Benny Hinn,
that type of mental mind control is like a choke out, and it is kind of a dark thing. It's a dark side thing.
A lot of when you look,
but it's kind of cool though.
Well, when you look at stuff like even religion or how people become the leaders of something, 5,000 years, 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, people might not have understood what the total solar eclipse was.
Yeah.
But someone could stand up and I know what it is. Listen to me. It's this. And they become the leader.
Yeah, people circle around.
Right, listen, whoever has like the coolest rap,
Yeah.
I got it, man. Listen to me.
So work on your rap.
It works, I guess. Yeah. I used to have a good rap, but
Yeah, I used to have a nice 16 bars that I.
Well, it's funny you say that because there are a lot of times where I'd be with someone and we'd just be having eye contact and and then it happened.
It's real. Shit's real, man. That's kind of what.
But
animals do that shit because it's real. It's a real deal thing. But what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was going to... what was I going to say about... I don't know. There's something like that where... Oh, yeah, like... Someone... you have this whole group of people that believe that aliens created a lot of stuff on the Earth.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, I disagree, but it's in the realm of possibility. I realize that too.
Yeah.
But I've been places where people were talking about that stuff, and I know it was just something that the Mayans did because that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't because there was someone in a spaceship looking through a telescope.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so people, you know, the Nazca Plains.
No.
In Peru, eastern Peru, there are these big, made in the ground like creatures that you only see from space.
I've seen him. Dude, there's a guy doing that right now.
Right, and so people say, well, how can that be?
Yeah. Oh, they're saying it's UFO.
We have
crop circles.
We have imagination.
Right.
We have imagination.
John
we could
Lennon
think
said
of
that.
these things. We could think of grokking. It doesn't mean that it actually happened.
Yeah.
But we have imagination. We could think all these things. Science fiction.
Grokking.
It comes from
That's Elon Musk's new AI.
something by Robert Heinlein. Oh, what is it? The Stranger. Oh, shit! I'm losing those
brain cells.
My senior moment. But anyway, it's a book by Robert Heinlein, and one of the characters really communicates with humans, but he's a space entity.
Mm-hmm.
And so grokking, you know, is like you put your heads together and you're sharing your thoughts, and they become, you know, so we're grokking one another, you know.
That's
so that was a term we used a lot in the 60s and 70s.
That's cool. I'm bringing that back, dude.
Stranger in a Strange Land.
Okay.
That was the name of the book.
I instantly thought of Stranger in the Night by Frank Sinatra. Stranger in the Night.
That's a little different.
Dude, my brain works in mysterious ways.
I was in the science fiction book club for a while. You know,
that's cool.
It's just great stuff, you know, that people come up with. You know.
Are you reading anything good right now?
I read this really cool book that this guy that gave me an Uber ride. Because my car went down and I don't have Uber, but my friends got me the ride in his name, and we're talking blah blah blah. Blah, 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 blah. We're going from Wheat Ridge to here, right? And he said, "I'm a writer." I said, "Oh," he said, "That's my book," and he has a book back there so his passengers could buy them.
Nice move.
Well, it ended up he gave it to me and signed it because I knew someone who I said I would ask this person if he knew someone. He's publishing his own book.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
I want to do that.
But he wants to get it done into a movie.
Nice.
And I read it, and it was almost like his words. And I'm not that familiar with screenplays and stuff. But it was almost the way he was describing all this was like the words in the screenplay. They would use those same exact words to move the story along.
Yeah.
And I read it really fast.
It was good?
It was called, what was it called? Robert Droll, Droll.
Was it like an autobiography?
No. It was
or a
just
biography, I guess?
No, it's just a story that he made up.
Oh, weird.
And,
cool.
and the guy was contacted by people in the future. Somehow they had a lot, you know, this house was like the port for the future. And
That's
stuff.
rad. I got a song called...
Anyway, it was really good. So I was trying to... This person I know is connected with movies and Hollywood and stuff, but I didn't get... He lives in Miami, and I didn't get to speak to him about it, but I texted him, and he was really happy to hear from me. I said, I want to speak to you, if not here, when I get back to Denver... that I wanted to run by you, you know, and see if he would tell me, do I have to find an agent? Now tell this guy and stuff like that.
Dude, I want to publish my journals. What do you think about that? Because
I would say self-publish. Listen,
because
you're pretty cool. You know, I know the way that you communicate. I know the way that you think and what you think about. So I imagine your journals would be very interesting. So why not?
I want to. Kurt Cobain did it. And I feel like... once I die, those journals are going to be worth something. And whoever my significant other is going to get blessed. They're going to get paid out.
They don't care.
I know. Listen, I know they don't. And I know sounds very egotistical.
People do care, but then we change. You know, it's so weird, you know.
Yeah. But I mean,
No.
ideally, I mean, realistically, but ideally.
Oh yeah, it's like showing women my artwork, you know. So yeah, so they'll like it for a while.
No, but it's like I feel like if I can really succeed in this life and do something that's like prolific,
You know what?
and then I die, and then people are interested in my art, and then my wife sells my journals and just makes buku bucks, and like
Yeah,
her, and then
that would be
her
nice.
and her and my family are set. You
Hey,
know, like that's my goal.
That's a
And I
great
think
thought.
that's
Why not?
romantic as hell.
Why not? Before taxes.
Before taxes, yeah, exactly. And it'll be covered by the church. It'll be under the church. So yeah, it'll be tax free.
You know. I guess I thought I sent that picture to you. No, I didn't.
Yeah, because I'd like to load up a picture if you want. And do you have anywhere that your art is up that people can see?
Yeah. So I wanted to pull up this picture. Oh, geez, what did I do here? Oh, I see.
That's the one of the framed art, right? The framed art that lady had, Rusty.
Yeah. So, you want me to send you that picture, right?
Yeah, I think that one's rad.
Yes.
Yeah,
1970.
That's the Charles Manson
Funny
spot.
story about this picture. We were on our way to Mexico
Oh, damn.
because my friends just did they brought back like pounds of hash from Afghanistan.
That's rad.
When you could take a bus, a VW bus or something, and ride it from Amsterdam across Europe, across the Hindu Kush to Afghanistan and come back and bring it to the United States.
Dude, a chunk of Afghani hash.
But to just be, you have to go through Iran,
Yeah.
Iraq, places that you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, that's gone forever.
Yeah, that's insane.
Maybe not forever. Maybe it will come around again, but it's hard to imagine with the Taliban, controlling Afghanistan. But
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
there's a lot of different ways to get that hash too, and I heard of there's methods where these guys will just wear gloves, like leather gloves that go up to their shoulders, and they just walk through the fields.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
they just
and then I had a
fucking-
friend who had been to Afghanistan and lived in India for a long time. He said, "No, that's not how
That's
they did
bullshit.
it." And I thought that what I heard was not just the gloves, but they wore leather
Their whole suit,
coats,
their
right?
whole body.
And they would scrape it off.
That's what I thought. Maybe that's just
You
a
heard that
legend.
too, so that's too. I got to tell my friend who I'm losing my football bets to.
I heard that because, I guess it's just an urban legend. Or not even urban, really.
Oh, yeah,
It's
so
an
the
Afghani legend.
So the funny story was, we were going to go to Mexico, and it was like a spur of the moment thing. But I had my passport with me, and so we go down to San Diego to get visas to get into Mexico. And my 3 friends go and get visas. Then it was my turn, and the customs guy said, "I can't give you a visa." I said, "Why?" I said, "That's my passport." He said, "How can I tell it's you?" It was from 1947.
No beard.
When I went to, my picture was when I was 1.5. When I went to England with my mother for her sister's wedding.
Did you shave? What did you do?
We didn't go. we went camping somewhere east of San Diego in Coyamaca Rancho National Park.
Rancho.
So my mother is English. My dad met my mother as he was training for the invasion of Normandy in World War II.
Good God. That's some scary shit.
Yeah. So, you didn't ask me about his medals that I have down and under my TV? You might have at some
I may
point.
have seen him, but was he?
Right.
He was like a war hero.
He was a war hero in the sense he survived and he saved a lot of his fellow soldiers.
That's a war hero.
Right. He was in the 70th Tank Battalion.
Okay.
They invaded North Africa to fight Rommel in North Africa. And when they beat North Africa, then they invaded Sicily and liberated Palermo from the Germans and the Italians in Sicily. Instead, part of the group that invaded Sicily and liberated it in 1942 went on to fight in Italy. So there'd be another front against the Germans. But my dad's battalion went to England to train for the invasion. And my mom, who grew up in London, my grandparents got them out of London, during the bombing of London.
Jeez.
And they went to this town called Swindon, which was kind of like had similar topography as it did in France after you got off the beaches. And they met at a USO dance.
Oh, wow.
Then my father got involved with the invasion and pushing the Germans back. He was in the Battle of the Bulge. Then they pushed them back again. They crossed the Rhine. He got injured. He had Purple Heart with 3 oak leaf clusters and a bunch of other medals, and got captured. He was a POW, but only for 2 days, because all the people
only for 2 days.
The people in the hospital, they
Long enough
left
to get
when
hungry.
the Americans
He got
were
hungry.
So he got liberated really quick.
What kind of music were they playing at that?
Oh, dance music. Like, the Glenn Miller, they have the Glenn Miller Ballroom at CU campus. Glenn Miller was really popular then,
So, like what? Like
it
doo-wop?
Like
doo-wop?
No, it was pre-doo-wop, or, whatever most... No, it was a lot of black people were playing this music too. And some of the, the black doo-wop, and no, it was before doo-wop, but bebop.
Bebop.
Bebop would have been played at the same time, like by the blacks, and more of the white, like Benny Goodman, but there's still, Count Basie and Louis Armstrong. They were all playing at the same time as the dance music that Glenn Miller was writing, So it was a combination of all kinds of people playing, but it was mostly like dance music.
I always think about the vibe and the music playing and like what people are wearing, and like I often think about Back to the Future, like the scene in Back to the Future, because and I also think about what it is that I would do to capitalize. Because he takes the almanac and so that he can bet.
Right. That's the big thing. The almanac.
That's like the move, is get the almanac.
Well, to get to the
bet
next
on games,
movie also.
To get on, So you bet on sports games and you make a lot of money, and that's kind of brilliant. That's like maybe that's the move, but I mean it didn't work out for Marty McFly ultimately. But
it worked out for his nemesis.
My question was going to right. My question was going to be, what would your move be? If you
knew you could, listen, I've never been one to, I didn't have the kind of mindset to invest in stuff. Like I could have bought a house in Boulder in '79, and I'd be a millionaire today. Whatever.
So that might have been your move.
Yeah, buying land. I mean, I was speaking to some people in Tennessee. They own 4 houses that they're renting in the town that we used to live in.
Dude.
I know friends here that have done that. I never had the acumen to do that.
Sure.
My big thing was to come out here and help my friend get this business going that I could really do well in. Yeah. I haven't mentioned a lot of these things because I'm not trying to let people know who I might be.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. Well, because I like an episode name, Money Talks. I kind of like that. So if you have a better one, let me know. And I was just gonna put Silky, unless
that's okay. Some people know me as Silky, so. Some people that might listen to the podcast, oh, Silky, oh, pretty cool. Yeah, I remember him talking about that stuff.
Because Silky is that's an enigmatic, it's a, what is it? Nickname, sure, but a alias or whatever.
Yeah, that's funny because there was a period in California where we were studying numerology, and from high school, everybody knew me as, and I introduced myself as Phil, whatever my last name was. And when we studied numerology, it made more sense to become Philip than Phil.
Why?
The numbers, whatever the number was, seemed better to me.
Oh, it landed...
numerologically wise.
Okay.
Yeah, but whatever meaning that had, I don't...
Yeah, it seemed like a better number when you added them all.
Right, and it was a better number, which suited me, what I was thinking better, even though I don't relate to that anymore. So then I have a whole group of people that just know me as Philip, others as Phil, others as Silky, so, and they exclusively call me that name, that's, except for one, my friend who I saw recently said, Felipe,
That's kind of nice. That's not bad. Dude, that's funny. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, again, I haven't lived the best life. I haven't achieved, some of the best stuff, but I really feel I'm a good-natured person that cares about other people.
Yeah, I feel
even if they're not in my tribe.
Yeah. Well, dude, we're in the same tribe, bro. And you're the elder Jew in this building and the elder Jew in my life. And
I'm older than your dad.
I really respect you. How old are you?
I don't divulge that.
Okay, so I think you're around the same.
I turned 77.
Okay, so you're older than my dad, but I'd say you're...
Right, so if people want to believe what I think about things because I'm 77, it doesn't really matter because someone the same age as me has totally opposite beliefs,
Well, and it seems that when the next generation comes up, they're just dirtbags anyway. And
I'm counting on the next generation. I was just reading a headline in the Post that, or an article in the Post, that Denver has like the highest population in some degree of mixed race people.
I don't believe
13%
of mixed race. Of like people.
People that are black
born
merged with white.
Okay, mother.
Yeah, Asian and white, Asian and black.
I see what you're saying now.
Spanish and black, whatever.
That's interesting.
Mixed, and the races too, not religions, just the races. And there's a lot, so I was reading this article and this woman grew up in Denver. The mother grew up in Denver and married an Irish, Swedish white guy. But when she was in high school, her parents moved her from the Park Hill neighborhood to Heritage High. I guess that was down in the Springs or something. I think Heritage. I don't think there's one in the area here. Whatever. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. But she might not have been exaggerating. But she had to call the custodian 800 times to have him erase the magic marker that said nigger on her locker.
Good God.
So she grew up with that, and she vowed to never have that happen. And she married a white guy, so had a mixed daughter who has felt comfortable wherever she's been in Denver.
Yeah.
And that made me feel good, that people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
In our neighborhood. I know a lot of bad shit happens, but it does in every city. But I think for the most part, I engage people shopping or whatever it is who are cordial, who are cordial and courteous. Yeah. I didn't find that in southern Florida where I was.
Yeah.
People don't use their signals. They cut you off. They don't look at you. You buy something here, kind of.
Yeah.
But Denver seems to be a pretty nice place.
Yeah, if you sneeze, somebody across the street will say, bless you. That's just the kind of place it is around here. I don't know what it is. Maybe that we have all the seasons, or we experience how cold it is, so we feel for each other. I don't know what it is. Everybody's cool with each other for the most part. You don't see a lot of fights or anything.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there are people that will get into fights because that's the type of people they are.
Occasionally it happens. Yeah.
But people are generally, you walk in the park, people will nod at you, smile, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're not, you can't, come into my bubble,
Exactly.
So I as a single guy, I like that in a lot of ways because I'm engaging with people. I'm not just in my cave. I got plenty of friends and family that live here, in the area, and I see them a lot and we communicate a lot. Yeah. And then I got these people all over the country, that I do. But just to have that, where you go out and you have a sense of people feel okay, that's a good thing.
I was going to ask you, I'm getting my set together because I want to travel and I want to play it around the country, but I want to go up one of the coasts first.
Right.
Would you recommend the East Coast or the West Coast?
Well, I don't have a lot of experience on the East Coast. And I have good vibes about the West Coast, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I left California in early 73.
I bet California was so fucking awesome back then.
And I traveled up the coasts, and they're great stuff. I've been up in Oregon. not much in Washington, but I've been on the coast in Oregon, Northern California, down to Southern California, Big Sur. So I would say that is not only probably nicer at the right season, but it's true of the East Coast too. But the East Coast, I think it's harder to like just be on the coast.
Yeah.
A lot, you know. Yeah. Even though there is Highway 1, you know, in Florida and up in Georgia and North Carolina, South Carolina, all that stuff. And there's nice coasts. I mean, anywhere you by the coast, there's beautiful coastlines and inlets, you know, into all the rivers and stuff. And, you know, there's all the industrial stuff and the seaports and things like that. But I would say I would say the West Coast, but it's only my personal experience.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards also. Although I do want to get out to New York because I feel like, I don't know, I want some of that pizza, some bagels and lox. I feel like our tribe's over there, man.
So there's a restaurant near where my mom lives in North Miami Beach. It's in an area just north of her. It's called Aventura. And there's Moe's Bagels and Deli, and I'm disappointed with all the Jewish delis here in Denver Metro now. Yeah. They went downhill. A lot of them got sold out. I don't know if you ever went to the New York Deli News on Hampton.
I haven't been to that one. I would go to Zadie's a lot.
I didn't even like Zadie's, but Zadie's is better than others.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll try their corned beef again.
I got to go back to Zadie's. This place has
great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, where I went, I wanted to go again, and something with our cousin was coming in, and we went to this Israeli place, had great hummus and falafel, you know.
Yeah.
But I wanted another corned beef sandwich, you know. I didn't get enough.
Yeah.
And they were good, you know. It's like that thick.
Usually, if you get a corned beef sandwich, it's going to be massive, right? If you're at a good spot.
Right. So, yeah, I've just been disappointed with the corned beef and the pastrami here in town.
Yeah.
You know, they opened up this new place, Call Your Mother.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen it?
No, it's probably because there's not a lot of Jewish proliferation going on.
No, there's
the people in the kitchen. Are
there
in the kitchen? Are they Jewish?
No, you got like Rosenbergs, you know.
Are they Jews in the kitchen?
Oh, in the kitchen?
Yeah.
No, in the kitchen it's all immigrants.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
The same people that are picking your raspberries and mowing your lawns.
It doesn't taste
and building your roads and your houses.
That's why there's
why do people not want immigrants here?
Well, because Zadie's not cooking the corned beef anymore. It's, you know, Miguel.
Oh, right. You know, that's true. That's true. And that's what I was so disappointed in. I was so disappointed. Who's texting me it's only 7:40. Man, Jamie sent me something. Anyway, what else? I wanted to show you something else, some of my artwork. Again. So,
yeah, because I'm definitely trying to post.
Oh, yeah, so here, it's right there. How fortunate is that?
Yeah, that one's cool.
So
Definitely.
my friend, that's one of the ones she wanted,
and that's
she framed it, and it looks great in her house.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's oil or
it's pastel.
Pastel.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And
do you have a preference? What do you like to use?
Well, I started in color doing oil painting, and. You know, again, it's when I said whatever happened when I was young, you know, the positive and the negative. So I started getting into it, but I kind of gave it up because I didn't have the space. And you have to have turpentine, and I'm living with other people, in a smaller house, and, you know, mixing the paints and stuff. So I stopped doing the oil painting and got into using pastels. And I still, use, work with graphite, pencils. And
pastels would be like chalk, kind of, right?
Yeah, kind of chalk, just colored chalk, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I like Sharpie, man. I never messed with pastel, but Sharpie,
I should do that. I should really do that.
Like
I don't know if you ever saw
Sharpie
this picture of me and my dog in the Sierra Nevada.
That's the picture I'm going to post. Can I post that? I would prefer to post that picture.
it's kind of washed out, you
Dude,
know.
it's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I could, or you could like use
Well, whatever you want me to post. I'll
no,
post.
I know. I was just going to show you this other picture.
Definitely, I'd like the butterfly's dope. You know, post a few.
Oh gosh, I have so much stuff in here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I gotta. I don't know what I got to do with this. All of this, but yeah. Oh yeah, that I need to get rid of. But I got to go through so much. You know, I haven't learned how to like just search for a year. I could probably do that. But you know, again, I'm kind of lazy. I did this oil painting of one of my friends.
Oh shit! Nice.
And I did that in '77. So yeah, like my last painting was in '82.
Oh yeah.
Last oil painting. And
what's to stop you from doing another one? I bet you would do a badass one these days. After all your time passing, I bet you if you picked up the paintbrush and you did.
Weird. It's weird you asked that.
Why don't you just go to the supply store and get some paint?
I thought that when the pandemic hit, you know, because I kind of live in a cave myself anyway, and I, you know, didn't need to go out.
Bob Ross that shit.
You know, I stopped working on my stuff.
Dude, that's pretty cool. It's cool because like you'll still be completely anonymous by posting that picture of yourself. Because you look nothing like that anymore.
I'll give you the other. You want me to? You want me to text you the other one?
Yeah. Well.
Oh! This you'll love this.
Whatever you want.
You'll like this. So these are the two guys I was in Mexico with. Come on.
Oh, that's kind of got a weird effect going on.
Oh.
Let me see here.
Anyway, however you look at it, there are the mushrooms in front of us.
Is that one of those you?
No, that's my friend Michael and my friend Steve.
Look like you. So they're just psychedelic?
I had the camera. I took the pictures. I wasn't in a lot of them.
Are they psychedelic mushrooms?
Yeah, those are the psilocybin mushrooms we got in that cow pasture in Palenque.
Dude, eating wild mushrooms is so fucking risky. You have to know what you're doing.
We didn't know what we were doing, but like the people that were frying them up with their eggs said it was okay.
No more risky than doing a line of white powder these days, I guess.
Oh, well, you know, one of my favorite musicians died because he thought he was doing cocaine and it was heroin.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, Tim Buckley.
Tim Buckley?
I gave you one of his albums to listen to back when I was giving you my pre-'70s albums to listen to.
That reminds me of...
It just reminded me, too.
Yeah, okay, so what was...
So this is after we came out, just a picture I took of Michael and Steve.
Nice.
Anyway, I was going to find this other picture. Oh, you want me to send that to you, by the way?
Yeah, sure, man.
Oh, here, it's upside down, no wonder.
So yeah, if you want, I was gonna grab my vinyls, bring them in here onto the table, and we could go through them together and see if there's one that you like, you could borrow, and then we'll also be able to find the one that you lent me. Let's
do that.
What's the name of that album again?
John Hammond.
John Hammond. I always forget. That's
Right.
another reason why I lost it.
Right. Well, I would notice it if I saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're down there for my mother's 98th birthday. Oh, yeah. This is me and her. She's 98.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. She's looking good.
I got good genes.
Especially for 98. That's awesome.
Yeah?
Hell yeah. Send her my love, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah.
She made you, dude. She brought you into this earth.
That's right.
You know? Like, that's an impressive feat.
And also messed me up a little. Too.
Yeah. Moms will do that. Moms will do that. You know? That's how it goes, man. That's just part of it.
Where did I have that picture that came up?
That's what makes me nervous about having kids. It's like you do something wrong and you're like, oh, well, there's permanent fucking lifelong damage.
Yeah, blame it on your mom.
Yeah, like, okay. All right, well. No turning back the clock on that one. Like,
So this is one I did.
She's gonna become a stripper.
This is a picture I did lately, Arin.
What?
Because I did this like in October.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a house on
Charcoal or?
a house on Franklin.
Is that charcoal or
It's just pencil.
pencil? Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so when the pandemic started, I said, "Oh man, I'm going to be able to do so much art. I'm going to be able to read all these books on art." I did fucking nothing but watch TV.
Yeah. America.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I built an invention during the pandemic and spent all my pandemic money. It was a retractable trellis that you put into grow tents instead of reusing, or instead of throwing your trellis away at the end, you would reuse your trellis, and it was retractable.
Reuse your
trellis, like the thing that supports the plants.
Right.
And it's actually a pretty decent design, and I want to make it, but it's just not cost effective. But I thought, how cool would it be to be an inventor, man? Just be an inventor. I mean, if you had like some badass invention that made it, like, that'd be sick. Like the slap chop. Come on.
I found it, Arin.
Think about, God, I'd Marty McFly some invention. What invention would I Marty McFly? I don't know. Netflix. God. So.
You got it.
You got it. Let's see it. What do you got there?
Me and my dog in the Sierra Nevada.
Oh, you sent it. Nice.
1970.
1970? Cool. 70. That's 18 years before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even a sparkle in my dad's eye at that point. In 70.
Huh.
It's kind of crazy that we're in the 20s now. It's kind of a weird thing.
Now what?
We're in the 20s. We're in the 20s again, you know?
Oh. So where'd you go to high school? What high school did you go to?
I went to Smoky Hill High School.
Smoky Hill. You were down there.
In Aurora, yeah.
You know, John went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. I
haven't talked with John much, but we were on a friendly basis. Yeah.
Dude, I just got this brand new mic. I can't believe we didn't use these microphones for that. But like, I'm glad like that we did.
Well,
it
how did the other?
it.
I mean, what do they do when they break?
Well, see, I had to tape it. It's a used microphone, and like for whatever reason, like the cable just won't seat in there properly. So you touch it, it makes all this noise and feedback, and it like ruins the recording. It's a real fucking pain in the ass. So, yeah, there's that. Anyways, I got this new one. It's way badass, and I got it in the spot where I'm trying to work. This new spot.
Oh, I know how I can find this. No.
All right.
So we're still recording?
Oh, no, I think that'll do it. Fortune Radio. Thanks for being on.
Oh, hey. Nice to be chatting with you, Arin.
Do you have anything that you want to tell the people? Because this is immortalized forever.
Try to be kind to one another. Be kind to one another.
Be kind. Golden rule?
Golden rule helps, you know. I mean, pretty simple, but yeah, you know, come on. We're all trying to have our friends and families be in a good place. So let's let them do that without worrying about what other people are doing with their families if it doesn't directly hurt them.
It's beautiful. Paul and Mary?
Yeah.
That's the one where isn't like one of the members like absolutely massive and they like always stood in front of her for pictures?
That was so great. I saw them only once live.
I'm thinking about the Mamas and Papas, I think.
I like the Mamas and Papas. I'm not so into like the encyclopedia of their work.
I have no idea who Pat Minty is.
He's good. I'm not familiar with this album either. I tell you, I mean, it's kind of a bad thing with me, but I like Pat Metheny, but I never got much into it. I'm a guy that liked usually much later than the early 70s. Though, you know what happened? Like, for a long time, I wasn't into the new music, and there was all this disco anyway, right?
Rush, Canadian rock band.
You know what? I've been learning more about them, but they weren't part of, like, my scene.
Hemispheres. Rush Hemispheres. Pretty cool album cover with the brains.
Uh-huh.
Not bad.
Yeah, very cool album cover. You can't do that anymore.
What, Naked Bodies?
Yeah.
Well, just
I don't think
ass?
so.
You could show ass.
On album covers?
You can't show ass? Here.
I don't know. I don't
know either. Neil Young and Crazy Horse, one of my favorites.
Ah, man, I love it.
Really
love
one
it.
of my favorites.
Everybody knows this is nowhere. La, da, da, la, da, da.
Yeah, because...
Everybody knows.
Yeah, my uncle gave me that Neil Young poster up there. It was a concert poster
right
behind you.
Uh-huh.
Like, Neil Young means a lot, man. I like Neil Young. Oh, dude. I got a good story about Charlie Daniels Band. All right, so that's Million Mile Reflections. I met the son of the keyboard player.
Uh-huh.
And I had a podcast with him.
Oh, how cool.
He's a vagrant on the street. He's a speedhead.
A baker down the street?
A vagrant.
A vagrant. Oh, no kidding.
He's a speedhead.
Too bad.
He asked me for a cigarette. Turns out he's the son of the fucking... And I did some research on him, and I mean, he could be lying, but I really don't think he is.
I wanted to see Black Sabbath. I wasn't into the weird metal stuff. I wasn't into I wasn't into Ozzy, but I appreciate him more now when he has his show with his son that they travel around.
He has a show with his son now.
Jack.
Ozzy? Yeah, Jack Osborne.
Yeah.
So they have a show together. What does his son play?
No, they don't. It's a show that they travel around the country meeting people. They don't play music.
Oh, okay. It's like
I think I gave you this.
Damn, the RC300 loop station manual.
I think I gave you this, by the way.
Okay, grab it back, dude.
I'll let you keep it for a while. Have you listened to it?
Dude,
Do you like
the
it?
manual, dude.
What is this?
This is the treasure, dude. This is
the RC300, huh?
Dude, all right. Things are looking good. Georgia Satellites. Yeah, we're going to keep that bowl loaded. We're going to keep that bowl fully loaded.
This is fine.
Georgia Satellites. That seems like an 80s rock band that I'm not really into.
Right. There was this era. Remember, I was in...
Boston.
Boston. I mean, I like some of Boston.
That's legendary. That looks, self-titled Boston?
Right, what are these, the late 70s?
I don't know. There's like crystals all over it.
I can't see without my reading glasses. Do you see a date on this, on the bottom? You have to look at the very
Seeger.
bottom.
He's like a cheese ball, but...
Bob Seger. Bob Seger has a lot of good stuff,
Yeah, he's good.
It's like stuff like that band Steppenwolf.
Oh, this is 78.
78.
Yeah.
That's why I said late 70s, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in Tennessee, back in the holla.
Hell yeah, dude. Eating holla.
I mean, they say hollow, but I was back in the holla.
That's my dad's favorite band, probably Van Halen. So that's Van Halen 5150.
Yeah, never got into Van Halen.
Definitely a metrosexual. Not a that's a weird kind of... It's like, I would never have the picture of a damn near naked guy.
But like an Atlas, look at the hairdos they have.
Yeah,
it's like they bouffant on the guys.
He's wearing a Zorro mask. So that, I don't know what the story
this
on that is.
Looks pretty interesting. Sing around? There's probably just good kid stuff. Instruments from Mexico, France, Israel.
Journey.
Yeah, Kumbaya.
Journey. Classic.
Journey, yeah, wasn't into Journey.
We're looking at... What? Brian Adams?
I like him.
Bless you.
I like Brian Adams. He was interesting.
REO Speedwagon I'm into.
They played in Boulder at Folsom Field.
High Infidelity. That's provocative. Ted Nugent.
Twee.
All right. Fuck Ted Nugent. We're looking at Foreigner. We're looking at...
they were all good. I don't know. It just wasn't a time I was into.
Rush, Grace Under Pressure, another Rush album.
Give me your favorite Rush album to listen to.
I like...
that you have.
That's a good question, man.
Was that one you showed me with the naked guy on it?
No. I feel like maybe
Because I've just been getting into learn about Geddy Lee. Geddy Lee was Jewish.
Oh, really? I had no idea. Jewish Canadian?
Jerry Lee is Jewish.
Oh,
Geddy
really?
Lee.
I don't have a favorite Rush album.
His sibling brother's name Wine Rib.
Tom Sawyer was a single, it wasn't an album.
Oh, so I was going to say that I wasn't into this new music after, the 60s, early 70s. One, we were in Tennessee, but I started listening to groups like Genesis, and I was into them. And the Police, really turned me on to the newer stuff.
The Police are
And
cool.
I've always been a big Sting fan ever since.
Yeah, Synchronicity is a great fucking album.
Yeah, they're all, and Sting solo stuff I really like.
U2 pisses me off. Let me say something about U2.
Yeah, tell me about you too. I like, but
they forced their way onto my iPhone.
Really?
It was some deal they did with Apple where their new album got automatically downloaded onto every user's iPhone.
I think I remember that.
And it's fucking bullshit because I would put my AirPod my headphones on and fucking try to play some music, and the first thing that would come on would be U2, and it's like, fuck that. You're gonna force me to listen to U2, and they made money on this, and they're in my ears, and
yeah,
fuck that, dude.
That's funny. They were really big, and I liked them, and I love that video of when they played Red Rocks with Black Sunday and that stuff.
Put that U2 in the fucking garbage.
But I loved a lot when they did this video of
Salsas Poderosas. When they did a video of what?
They were on a roof, and it was
Sorry.
So this is before your time also, but you got into them.
Oh yeah, I like REO Speedwagon a lot, man. But they were one of my dad's favorite bands. So I mean, just kind of by osmosis,
Right, I got you.
But a lot of good tracks, a lot of good.
You know what?
songs.
I'll listen to. I could go to when I want to hear if some band name comes into my mind.
Yeah,
I'll just YouTube them.
That's the same.
And listen to something.
That's same here. Same here, man. I'm not going to listen to the vinyl because Kelly took the goddamn record player. It was hers.
Oh, she took the record.
Yeah, it was hers.
Oh,
Queen.
That's why you said you had it.
Yeah, Queen.
Legends. I wasn't.
Legends.
I wasn't into Queen when they were happening. It just wasn't the thing. But I just really loved their whole
fucking
reality.
Yeah, dude.
And Mercury.
One of the best, if not the best, frontman of all time. I think that's my next journey in life. One of my next things is I'd like to be a frontman. I want to set my guitar down and just get people off. Just pick the mic up, sing, get rowdy, sing, like Jim Morrison kind of, and just
Jim Morrison.
You know what I'm
he
saying?
was wild.
Anyway, Queen the Game. That's a good album.
Freddie.
AC/DC.
Yeah. Oh, so I really like so many of the Queen songs. AC/DC, I was never into at all.
Let There Be Rock.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of it sounds very the same. Another Van Halen.
Maybe that was part of it. I would, because people still sing the praises of Eddie, and so I should listen to more of his music.
Let me grab something from this drawer really fast.
There's a reason why.
A
reason why.
Thank you.
I have one of those in my apartment.
Oh, nice. The piano wire poker.
Yeah, I love it, man. I was going to say,
Dude.
hey, I still got your piano wire,
Dude, it's like one of the best pokers you could ever have. Piano string, piano wire.
Yeah, you're like my brother. He won't smoke down to the black whatever is.
No.
But with these pipes, it comes through pretty easily, too.
Well, all the THC's gone. Think about it. You're just smoking plant material at that point. Anyways.
It has a lovely fragrance. I really like that. This is, I know, the Asia, right?
Steely Dan.
Yeah.
That's a classic album, dude.
Classic.
Well, you'd say Aha, right? Or Asia? Aha?
Oh, Aha, yeah.
Aha, right?
Aha, I said Asia, right.
Well, I don't know. How would you say it?
I think it's pronounced Asia.
Asia.
Asia, ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Right. It's gotta be.
Asia, da-da-ba-ba-ba.
The Rush album, we're looking at Moving Pictures. That's gotta be my favorite Rush album.
You mind if I borrow it?
Please. Please, and also feel free to put those on the floor so it doesn't get out of hand for you because it's gonna end up being this tall.
I will do a few more.
Okay, cool. All right, we're looking at Alan Parsons' project.
I liked his stuff.
Not familiar with a lot of his
I
stuff,
come from a like a classical music background of enjoyment, not playing so much, but listening. My father was really into it, so when my mom was pregnant with me, he's playing like all this Mozart and Beethoven, so I have it in my fibers. But anyway, so like I would have these cassettes when I was in Tennessee, and I'd be driving down the road. I'd have Quicksilver Messenger Service on one side,
so good,
and
dude.
Beethoven on the other.
What's their big hit? Bitter.
So I like that instrumental
Taste?
stuff. Anything that's instrumental, I really like.
Quicksilver Messenger Service. What's their big hit?
Well, have another hit. Fresh air. Well, I was into all this other stuff of theirs that had nothing to do with that one.
That's the one that comes to mind.
That's the one was the big hit. That's the only hit.
That's the one that came to mind. Obviously.
Okay, I want you to on your YouTube or whatever, listen to just Google The Fool.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to. That sounds.
And
good.
also, there's another one. The Fool. It give you an idea of Quicksilver and the '60s at that time.
Def Leppard.
Another band I wasn't into.
Pyromania. What? So the drummer had one arm, or what's the deal?
I don't know about
Def
that.
Leppard. The drummer had one arm, or the guitarist had one finger, or some shit. One of them was an amputee. I don't know. All right, 1984. We're looking at Van Halen, dude. Look, that's a double. You can take that one too if you want. Look, because I got it up on my wall.
Good stuff by Eddie on this.
Yeah, dude. Van Halen's, dude. Honestly, yeah. It's not my favorite album by them, but this is a hell of an album. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
I think he recorded this.
Let's keep that one out
in Netherlands.
I want to hang that on the wall, dude, because that's a legendary album.
Oh, so these are your
some of my favorites. Like
right.
go on the wall. Because like I said, I'm not listening.
Your role model album.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not listening to fucking vinyl. Like I'll just throw it on Spotify and listen to it. You know.
He did another one. I think that was at Caribou Ranch. This one wasn't. But
come on.
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
On.
I mean, it's fantastic.
Absolutely legendary.
So you want to listen to it, right?
Yeah. Miniature Tigers. These are a newer group. You wouldn't know them, but they're badass.
Black Magic.
Simon and Garfunkel, and actually, this poster came out of that album. And so I had to hang it up. It's kind of trashed, but I still like it.
Yeah, this is a good time for their music. Bookends, yeah, great.
Scorpions, no thanks.
Don't know the Scorpions.
Phil Collins, you were talking about Genesis earlier.
Yeah, I like Phil Collins.
He's talented.
Yeah. Yeah. You know who I like even better is, and I like Chrissy Hynde.
Joan Jett.
The Joan Jett, right. I was thinking right away it was Chrissy Hynde.
A fake signature.
She signed it for you?
Fake signature.
Total love rock and roll.
Total fake signature. All right, Journey.
So I love Peter Gabriel.
Peter Gabriel's
I really like his
Peter
mind.
Gabriel's dope. I like Journey a lot. What do you think about the new singer, the Filipino?
You know, he sounds good. I was always into the other guy, Steve. It was Steve. Anyway, they have nice stuff. You know,
Dude,
to me, a lot of this stuff, just because of the time when I was dropping acid and all that, that this is more like pop music to me, where the other was more like something about what was clicking things in my mind.
I always loved Journey, saw him live, and dude, their guitarist is such a cheeseball. And he gets his teeth whitened so they glow in the dark. Triumph? I don't know anything about that.
I don't know, but they got the tarot cards.
That's cool. Tarot's pretty cool.
So the Fool, when you Google,
it's a tarot card, isn't it?
The Fool is a tarot card. So that they just use it, So
I should know who this is.
Anything by these guys I like.
Who is that?
They're my era. I don't know this album.
Really?
Yeah, no, I don't know the album.
Feel free to...
I was living in the Hollow, man. I was back in the Hollow when this stuff was coming out.
I mean, the guy's face looks familiar, but I can't think who it is.
This guy?
Yeah.
David Crosby.
Oh, shit. So it's Crosby, Stills, and Nash?
That's just Crosby and Nash.
Yeah.
They did albums on their own together for a while.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I always like this stuff, thoughtful guys.
Jethro Tull, badass flowers.
Jethro Tull. Funny. I wonder when this came out.
He's got.
Yeah, I was a big Tull fan. You know.
Yeah, he was.
Ian Anderson played the flute. You know, it was kind of cool.
You and Whose Army? I don't know. A window? You and Whose Army?
You and Whose Army, Volume 1. Wow.
That might be some. I don't know exactly. I don't know what that is.
Produced by You and Whose Army. So it must have been live where the audience would be there, you think?
I don't know.
No, maybe not.
I'm not.
So let's see. Scott Sather and Steve Goodroad in Love.
So it's like a collaboration.
Rustic. What Matters? Right, it's a
multiple artist.
Marty Benson. How can I explain? Right, Ronnie and the Raccoons. Yeah.
This is just a goofy.
You again.
I have some goofy ones that are just good for sampling.
This kind of cool stuff. You know?
Yeah.
The honky tonk is great. I had a friend that played great honky tonk.
Mariachi.
Mariachi.
I have one of my friends from Mexico left some records over here a long time ago.
El Mundo del Sonido.
Walsh. Very cool.
Oh, it is a great album.
Yeah.
There Goes the Neighborhood. Joe Walsh, man. Yeah, I was listening to an interview with Joe Walsh with on Terry Gross on NPR.
Nice.
I think I know this one too. Oh yeah, Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Only 10 years together.
Is that a...
Oh, Stu Ball was racehorse, and I wish he were mine. He never drank water, he only drank wine. Yeah, they didn't write many of their own. Early Morning Rain, I think that was Tim Hardin. In the early morning rain, with $1 in my hand, and an ache in my heart, my pockets full of sand.
Nice. That's
I'm
powerful.
a long way from home. Oh, I loved all that folk stuff. Yeah, that was real big. And again, I was listening to a lot of this pre-turning on.
Before you did acid.
Before I even turned on, I was listening to this stuff.
He's one of my idols, Johnny Cash.
That's good. We were visiting the friends, I was saying, in this one town in Florida, and the guy on the back of his license plate had a cover. It said, "God bless Johnny Cash."
Hell yeah. Yeah, he's got a wicked mustache on that one. Yeah, Ballads of the True West. He's got a lot of just like spoken word shit on that one. Mexico. Manhattan Pop Orchestra. Moody Blues. I don't know a lot about, but it seems like you listen to a lot of the Moody Blues.
Yeah, but not these are later, right? I listened to most of the early stuff.
Bob Marley's son, a young version.
Ziggy. Yeah. Ziggy is like the first son I think I knew from his sons.
The Melody Makers. Hecho in Venezuela. Made in Venezuela. Music.
Yeah, that's right. We were buying oil from them because it was cheaper.
Música para
exportar.
So
music for export.
For export, that's rad. And you were saying that we were buying.
Joan, I used to have this album.
Joan Baez.
Yeah.
Joan Baez.
Chicago, I listened to. I wasn't a big fan just because, it was a little more pop than the edgier stuff I liked. Is that the Chicago?
George Carlin on the road.
Oh my gosh!
Sick.
Good. That's
a good one to find, dude. That's the one that's hanging on the wall without the vinyl.
Neil Young.
Yeah. After the Gold Rush.
Oh boy, yeah. I saw the cover. It looked Mozart. I like Mozart.
Yeah.
That is one of the nicest portraits I've seen of him. He always looks so much more goofier.
Yeah, he looks pretty put together in that one.
Yeah, I think it's probably Photoshop. Whoa.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Mozart. I won't be able to do this in a few weeks.
Be careful, dude.
I won't be able to do this in a few weeks because I'm getting a hernia operation.
Oh, good God. Well, I didn't realize you had a fucking hernia, Phil. I would have taken that off the table for you.
I've had it for years. I had this one girlfriend for a while that was coming to the apartment. And she had 3 boys, and she said, "Oh, you got a hernia, Silky."
So you got a hernia, Silky? That's kind of provocative.
Yeah, she knew about that stuff. Hubert Laws. I saw him live.
Flautist?
In Greenwich Village.
Oh, it's kind of a cool cover. I like that cover.
Yes, it is. Romeo and Juliet. That's what it says there. I got it.
Yeah. You just knew it by the picture.
I saw it by the picture, right. I've seen it in art a lot, you know.
Beethoven?
This one I knew. Oh, Beethoven.
Yeah.
First and second, huh? Leonard Bernstein. Yeah. I guess if there was if I had one pick of rock and roll, and I had and one pick of classical, the Dead have so much stuff, you know. So I would think of picking them, but I would pick Quicksilver and Beethoven over Mozart and Bach. Fiddler on the Roof.
I hardly know her.
There was a
Fiddler on the Roof.
La da 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 da. Oh my gosh! Look at all of these.
Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof. Oh my gosh! Are you selling these or what?
Yeah, take a Fiddler on the Roof. I got 3.
I have one.
Of course, I have 3 Fiddler on the Roof.
Yes, I like.
Yes, it's cool.
Yeah, I like it. Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Some more mariachi.
You know, Henry Mancini.
I don't hate mariachi. I really don't hate mariachi.
There's Leonard with Beethoven. The 7th. I like that.
Yeah, feel free to borrow any of these that catch your eye.
I have all of Beethoven's symphonies.
Oh, nice. REO Speedwagon,
Again?
of course. Yeah. What
Well,
album
they
is-
must have done some. I like the cover.
Good Trouble. Good Trouble. That's kind of a cool album.
Is that what that's called?
And it's a picture of
Good Trouble.
a housekeeper looking in on a room, like all fucking
Yeah.
creepily.
Oh, what the hell were they doing in there? Good Trouble, buddy.
Leo Sayer looking like.
Neil Sayer, you know, he was big for a little while.
Was he Irish? It sounded like you were doing an Irish accent.
Irish or English, you know.
Oh, nice.
He was from that area.
Rust Never Sleeps,
Oh,
dude. Neil Young and Crazy
Yeah,
Horse. That's a
baby.
good album, dude.
He's like had, you know, even
So
though it's
many
Neil
albums.
Young, he's had so many even like different styles of his own thing.
Yeah. Doobie Brothers, I don't know shit
The
about.
Doobies, there's a lot of stuff I like about them, you know, they're good musicians, but I'll tell you, it's really funny, we went to see them at Red Rocks once. Oh yeah, like, you know, Mississippi, but, oh Blackwater, keep on rolling, Mississippi mud, won't you keep on shining on. You know, I mean, they wrote a bunch of good stuff. Other stuff too, you know, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a really good.
But we saw them.
Vocally, they're untouchable.
That, you know, the music, there were stoners, the Doobie Brothers. But what was funny was we saw them at Red Rocks, and there was like their goodbye tour or something, and my brother and I and a friend are yelling, "All right, goodbye already, goodbye already." They say, "Oh, this album blew." Oof.
Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, you want to get melancholy, just go listen, right?
Okay, I think that's a double of the game if you want to hold on to one of those.
No, that's all right.
This was just good for scratching and is lost. Bark at the Moon. That's a nothing album. It's stupid. It's like samples. Ozzy Osbourne.
I like Ozzy now.
Dude, I like Ozzy. He's got a real original sound, and he's a fucking.
Is that the White Album?
He's a rock star, man. James Taylor.
James Taylor used to play with a high school buddy of mine.
Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
Yeah. Stranger in Time. There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
John Hammond. Can we keep going through the other ones?
We could,
Okay,
sure.
if that's all right. All right, so yeah, put this one aside. That's yours.
Oh, you can't listen to it now, damn it.
No, it's going back with you, dude. I cannot be responsible for this album anymore. I'm so glad we found it. John Hammond.
Yeah, look at the names of the songs there. You know, you could even read the words.
Here, I'll set it aside for now.
Yeah,
because
keep it for a while.
No, I'm not keeping it. I'm
You're
going
just
back
sending it
with
back
you.
with you
Yeah,
tonight?
Yeah, tonight, dude.
Oh, yeah. I like Stanley Clark. That's a good bass player, man.
I don't know shit about him.
Oh, that's a beautiful album.
Joni
Ladies
Mitchell.
of the Canyon.
Yeah, that is a cool album.
I think it's Ladies of
I
the
haven't
Canyon.
listened to it.
Court
but
and
it looks,
Spark. No, Court and Spark.
It looks
Right.
cool. Pat Metheny.
Pat Metheny. You know, he's a good musician. I'm surprised you don't hear more about him these
That's
days.
another Metheny.
George Benson. You know, he was good, but I never really, became a big fan of his. That looks
Sammy
like
Hagar.
Sammy Hagar, right?
He's okay. I don't.
He's big time now, with all the stuff he does.
Oh, this is a cool fucking
Rush.
Yeah, that's a cool album. I'm not as big of a fan of Hagar as I am of what's his.
Well, I was never a big fan. I think he's become a cooler personality, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow, this is pretty interesting.
Power Windows.
I like this kind of picture. Look,
That's cool art.
None of these TVs would work with something like that.
Oh, they didn't have.
They didn't go to remote. They didn't have remotes to go to these TVs.
That's probably why he's pointing. That's another cool thing.
I know.
Why he's pointing it out the window.
Right. It's the surrealistic puzzle.
Yeah,
a
totally.
riddle in here. So that's interesting.
That's right.
To me, even though it might confuse me.
Yeah, no,
it's still
awesome.
Interesting. Oh, I've seen this before.
Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, there they are again with that Road to Nowhere.
Is it assigned? Let me see that. This album belongs to.
They wanted to let you know.
Vetter Vieter.
I know this one. Running on Empty. Great album, right?
Let me see that later.
Running on Empty.
Oh, that's a great fucking song, dude. That reminds me of Forrest Gump. You ever see Forrest Gump?
Oh, yeah, a number of times. You know what's interesting about Forrest Gump, Arin, is that's my time. All the stuff that he went through, that was my time. The guy who wrote it, Zemeckis, he also wrote Back to the Future, I think.
Really?
Zemeckis.
I thought a woman wrote Forrest Gump.
No, it was Zemeckis.
Oh, really? Maybe I'm thinking of Fight Club.
John Denver. Anyway, he's 2 years younger than I am. So his experiences, the Byrds. Some of the rodeo, Sweetheart of the Rodeo.
So the Byrds. Jimmy Page was in the Byrds for a little while?
Who?
Jimmy Page, the guitarist for the Zeppelin? No. Who was in the...
No, he
wasn't there somebody really famous in the Byrds?
It was the... oh, shit.
Because
I was just reading about this too. No, the Byrds were an American band with David Crosby and Jim McGuinn and
Crosby was in the Byrds, right? Okay. Simon and Garfunkel, great fucking album.
Oh yeah,
Bridge Over Troubled Water. Starcastle, which is what Jefferson Star.
Yeah, I think I've seen this album.
Is it Jefferson?
It's funny. No. Oh, this is after Grace Slick. This is like if it's Starship, it's like a
I honestly
80s version of Starship.
That's a complete guess.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that's what they're called, Starcastle.
The Back in Black album, which is kind of cool. That was just like
AC/DC. Yeah, I've seen the album.
Yeah, Billy Joel.
That's the second one you have of
I got
52nd Street. I got doubles too.
Pat Benatar.
I liked her stuff. I mean, she was popular.
Get nervous. She's wearing a straitjacket. That's pretty hot. Foreigner. That's another double. What album is that again? Resorts.
Records. Just Records. Foreigner.
Maybe it's like
Foreigner.
I don't know what it is. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, badass album.
Oh, there you go. We were talking about that. Yeah,
that's a cool album cover, dude.
Again, because I have this musical background, I liked keyboards, flutes, interesting stuff like that. Yeah. And when people talk about jam band, they're a jam band. I just like to hear instruments, mixing with each other,
of course.
Whatever you want to call it,
Wow!
I don't think I've ever seen this album.
Life.
I'm going to take a picture of that and send it to my brother.
Yeah. Yeah, Neil Young, I fucking love because, for a lot of reasons.
He's a great guy.
A lot of reasons, dude.
He's like the Bill Murray of actors, Dude,
I like that comparison, man. Yeah. And he's just like doing his own thing. He's like got his own thing. Yeah, he's got his farm, and he's just like
though he's in the same genre,
he's just riding around on a tractor, writing songs and albums. Still, like, dude, that guy's killing it, dude. And he killed his whole fucking dude. That guy's awesome. I really like.
I got enough of that. All right.
And he's got a really original voice.
Because my brother's in a Neil Young tribute band.
Leonard Skinner's fucking sick, man. Those guys were like doctors at music, man.
Yeah, I know. They just
there was
something about it.
Is what it was.
It was so Alabama and Mississippi that it was hard to get into them. But
I don't know who the.
That's an interesting cover art too.
Old and Wise, I wouldn't.
Oh, I know this one. This is Led Zeppelin, right?
Pink Floyd, I think. Or no,
Pink Floyd. That's what I. That's
Animals.
Right. Animals, great stuff.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I'm not happy about Roger Waters though these days.
What's the story with Roger Waters?
Yeah, he's like. I think he's anti-Semitic.
He's actually. I believe that though.
Yeah, he's like I think. not happy with the Asians and the Africans coming in, and he's very ego-centered. That
Alan Parsons Project.
Again, good stuff.
I can't talk shit on Pink Floyd. I just can't.
They're
one of my favorites.
I did listen to Thriller. I
can't talk shit on Michael Jackson either.
Yeah, before he got crazed out of his mind.
Yeah, he was cool in Thriller.
I have this Pat Metheny.
Dire Straits.
Dire Straits, right. Brothers in Arms. Or maybe I just saw it. Oh, I have this one.
Almond Brothers.
Eat
that's
a Peach.
Cool.
Right,
Eat
a Peach.
That's a badass fucking cover. Oh,
Creedence.
CCR, man.
Yeah.
So the cool thing with them is they're like Southern rock, but they're not from the South.
Yeah, they're from Arin County, California. What's his face?
That's
my Tamalpais High School.
I lost a little respect for him, but that's another thing. They're CCR. They sound they're awesome. You can't hate it. You can't hate it.
He did Proud Mary, keep on burning, it's like the Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's like, come on.
Yeah, there was something about their style of music. No, it's after I get my operation that I can't lift it.
Okay, cool.
No, it's been okay. I just knew I had it. But
Jethro Tull.
I never saw this album either.
He's killing it on the flute.
Right. Wild guy, Ian Anderson.
He just goes hard, man.
Yeah, I have their stand-up out. Those are some that I gave you,
This is probably my favorite.
Yeah,
Aqualung. That's my favorite Tull.
It's historic, man.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had some friends that had an expression, when something was so cool, you would say you had an expression for it. Had these friends that they would say, oh, man, that is so Tull.
Dude, that's awesome.
Right.
I'm going to try to bring these expressions back. Just grokking.
Yeah, right. Grokking, that's Tull.
That's Tull,
I've been around long enough to get have absorbed all this crazy stuff.
Tull and grokking. Tull.
The Fool.
Grokking. Grokking. I just got to remember them, All right. Richie Havens.
Yeah, I have two of those. I might have given you one. No, this is different. I don't think I have one like this. It's probably worth some money. I smoked hash with Richie Havens.
Nice. Dude,
he was at one of those beings. He was one of those beings.
Oh, so it was just like
we were hanging out in Central Park, and a bunch of people were sitting around in a circle, and I had some hash, and we smoked hash together. He had something, yeah.
You smoked hash with Richie Havens?
Yeah.
Did he have his guitar with him?
No, he wasn't playing. We were just sitting, hanging out, right, with people. Yeah.
God, that's rad.
I heard him play a number of times. I heard him play. We went into Nashville from where we lived, way out, 80 miles from Nashville. We came into Nashville to see him at a small club, and he's just got so into it. He's wearing these robes. It was later in his life, his hair was getting white, and he had a long beard, and he just played all out. And some of the road crew had to on each side hold him as he was leaving the stage.
Dude.
And it wasn't just because he was old and feeble, but because of how
he was exhausted from the show, too.
Exhausted from the show.
Insane, dude. It happens to me when I perform, dude. It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, there you go. My brother is like
Plus,
that.
if you're old as fuck. All right, this is one of the most comical Stevie Wonder albums to me. And tell me what you think about it, because it's him sitting on the ground.
Book, yeah.
He's sitting on the ground, and he's looking at the ground. And it's like, what are you looking at, Stevie?
You know what I said about imagination?
He's not looking at anything. And maybe that makes me sound like an asshole. I try not to sound like an asshole. I'm just curious. But he's not looking at anything, I guess. He's blind, but...
Right, but I think...
he's one of the most... he's so fucking talented.
Right. So I wonder about that stuff, too, right? And that's why I said that
maybe comical is not a good way to put it. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but...
Oh, comical?
It's not comical, no, but it's weird to me.
What was comical was when Canon made a commercial for their... cameras, and they said the Canon X500 is so easy, even Stevie Wonder could use it.
What? That's fucking dumb on so many levels.
I know, but he was into it, I guess.
He got paid for it. Santana.
Yeah, I love Santana, but you know what?
I like that you hear it and you know it's Santana. That's why That's why I like
Santana. Well, that's interesting because that's why I like some of all those other groups in the 60s. They were all stoned out of their minds in their own different ways. That all their music was different. Didn't sound like one or the other. You have both of them?
Red Album and Blue Album.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah, dude.
That is so cool too, you know.
Pokemon Master.
Yeah, how they, you know, got into the whole scene with smoking weed with Dylan and then
you
dropping
can see
the
how
acid.
they changed over the years.
Yeah.
It's fucking
well, we all
amazing.
did. We all looked like this in 1964.
Yeah.
And then we all looked like this in 1970.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Or whenever, you know.
So what's the deal with the Apple? It was their record.
Oh, it's 66.
It was their record company, Apple
Yeah, they
Records?
created their own record company, right.
And it makes me think of like the Adam and Eve story, the apple in the Garden of Eden. Like, why did they choose Apple, you know?
Well, that's an interesting question.
It's like kind of...
I mean, yeah, it could have been tangerine. I guess apple, 2 syllables are better.
It comes up first in the phone book. Elton John, right? Yeah, Hockey.
Honky Tonk Chateau. That's
Yeah.
a fine album. Nigel, oh, yeah, he played with some good musicians. Elton John. Joe Cocker, too. Had some really good musicians with him.
ELO.
Electric Light Orchestra.
Days of Future Past.
Oh, this is Days of Future. This is the first
Moody Blues.
Moody Blues. And this came out after their hit song that this guy Denny Lane was the lead singer. So go now. This is like the
Go
mid-sing-
now.
If you gotta go, girl, you better go now.
Go now.
Go now.
Go now.
Go now.
Go now.
Yeah. Oh, had a girl matter. Yeah, anyway, so that was a real big hit. And then the lead singer left, and they made this crazy thing.
Dude,
Days of Future Past with Nights in White Satin and you know
That's a good track.
the night, the evening, you know, all of this stuff. The day begins and the night. It was just amazing, and you know what blew my mind. You'll find this pretty funny, Arin. I can't see a date on this, but I'm saying 66.
66?
66, 67 at the latest.
All right, we're looking at 67. 67.
So, 67, right?
Yeah.
And then they had all these other albums, Search of the Lost Cause, blah, 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 blah. And all the ones you showed me that I didn't even see. And there's all these others in between. Just love them. Great music, singing, the way they put a song together. Some might have sounded jazzy or a little, you know, I don't know, not kind of stuff. But they had like real cool lines. And
Yeah.
I was talking with someone and said, gosh, I love the Moody Blues. When did they get elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And the guy said,
There's another Moody Blues.
the guy said, they're not in the Hall of Fame yet. And
That's
this
insane.
is like 3 years ago.
Crazy.
3 years ago.
And they're still not?
No, they got elected
They
3
did.
years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago. And who is deciding this stuff?
Yeah, I have no
And
idea.
Jethro Tull's not even in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, shit.
You know, it's crazy stuff.
And there's-
you got these one-hit wonders, too.
That's
Seventh Sojourn, that's a good album, man.
I'll have to
They're all good. They're all good writers, and I think this is after Ray. No, there's Ray. Yeah, good stuff.
I really
They're all
like these
good
guys
writers.
a lot. Talking Heads.
Talking Heads, yeah. Yeah, David Byrne, and
He's a real-
amazing person.
He's like from outer space.
They're
man.
getting together again. They're
Oh, yeah?
thinking of playing again. Or whoever's, I think they're all alive.
And
And I saw interviews with them, you know, so.
he would tour with a massive band too. I mean, maybe not all the time, but all the footage I've seen of him was he's like a pretty big group with them.
Again, the mind, using your imagination, coming up with something different.
He had this really cool thing where he went to Japan and got a lot of influence with their stage performance, and he wore the big suit, and his whole thing was like he was trying to like make this larger than life version of the suit because it's the most relatable outfit of like the human man.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah, the Western human.
Yeah,
man,
exactly,
too.
right.
Yeah,
John Cougar Mellencamp, Scarecrow.
this is a great album. You know, this is Americana.
I never listened to it.
I really like his stick now. Sean Phillips, I knew this guy. I had Sean Phillips' album. Strange Stuff. Interesting stuff.
What's his deal? I don't know anything about him either.
He was mainly a soloer, and he just had his own. It was almost like a combinations of like Asian music and Western. Like he was maybe a yoga guru or something.
It looks like there's hardened mustard on the back of that.
I guess I was trying to take it off. That's kind of weird mustard. The mustard I
No,
have.
leave it on. Let's see.
The mustard I use wouldn't harden like that.
Danny Morgan.
I don't know him at all.
He's got the hairiest hand I've ever seen, and it says to Scott, which is my dad. Thanks for listening, Danny. And he's shirtless on the back of a horse.
Pretty funny.
Maybe it's like what I don't know what the deal with that is.
He doesn't have a shirt on here in the cover.
Yeah, he just likes to be shirtless, and he's hairy. He's pretty hairy.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there's his hand.
You see how hairy his hand is? It's just as hairy as his face.
Yeah.
Jesus. Sticks? That's like 80s, right?
Yeah, no, this is definitely 80s, maybe even 70s.
Oh, I'm liking this album.
Yeah, also, I could be judgmental here, and I am, and it doesn't mean that my thoughts are correct, but I guess it was, I thought of these bands in the 80s that was like smoke and mirrors,
kind of cheesy.
And I just like the guys came up on stage in jeans and like knew how to like go through.
They were more show. They were
right.
like
That's
they were like
saying.
showboats, kind of.
Right. Maybe that's why I didn't get into it.
Leonard
Not
Skinner.
that Leonard Skinner was,
They were like showboats.
No.
But they were like you were saying, they came up in blue jeans and shit, and they were just
Oh
rocking.
yeah, no, they were into cool stuff. Just I guess I wasn't into them to begin with, or even ZZ Top. When ZZ Top came out, they're great.
Yeah, they're
great
talented, for sure.
But when they came out, and everyone in Tennessee was so hot on them, and I'm thinking I was into Canned Heat,
Canned Heat stuff.
and with a da-dum-bum, they had stuff like that too, I said, what's the big deal? But I grew to appreciate
That's
those
Canned
guys.
Heat's another one with just all.
You don't have them though. Oh, so anyway, Leonard Skinner, a lot of good stuff. But when they got down on Neil Young for writing that Southern Man,
Oh yeah, they actually made it.
we
into
don't
the
need
lyrics.
no Neil Young
They
around
put it
anymore.
into the song. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, they didn't want to hear that. It wasn't their fault.
Who?
One of the best ever albums.
Who's next?
Who's next? Yeah.
And the last one.
Last
of
but not
the
least.
list.
It's a band. The band? No. Second Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Deja Vu. Crosby,
Deja
Stills,
Vu.
Nash and Young.
Another amazing classic. Yeah, I don't know what happened with mine. I wish I knew. Steve Stills is still playing, creating new music.
That's right.
Yeah. Carry on. Love is coming. Then, like today, some people are singing, carry on. AR-15s are coming.
Yeah.
Forget that love shit.
That's funny because all you can do is laugh, really.
Who needs that love shit? So Jamie sends me.
Here, put that with your stuff.
Oh, you never got to listen to this. I can't believe
Let's
it.
listen to it right now.
I thought you can't listen. I thought you don't have the record player.
No, let's listen to it on Spotify right now.
Oh,
All right, that's
Spotify.
Fortune Radio for you.
Okay.